bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Good evening. Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. That's right, it's Thursday. Thursday, August 2nd, 2018. 215 days into the new year, just 150 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in beautiful downtown Burbank, California. And I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the planets. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? How you doing? It's Thursday night. We've got a very special presentation. Tonight, of course, we have Jon Rappoport here and his No More Fake Newsroom Live. And then at the top of the hour, after Mr. Rappoport, we have special guest Matthew Ryan is here. Now, Matthew's going to hang out, take your phone calls. We're going to talk about ECETI. We're going to talk about Soul Tech, what he's going to be doing up there. Open lines all night long. It's going to be great. We've got lots to talk about tonight. And Matthew is amazing. And it's really cool to have somebody come in and you know, share the chores around the house. And that's what we're going to do tonight. Matthew Ryan is here. We're going to set it up tonight. Just one phone line tonight, 323-825-5045. We're just going to run with one. There's reasons for that, but they're simple. So don't make me get all deep. It's not that big of a deal. 323-825-5045. It's so funny. We were running with two. Now we've got three phone lines here. And everybody just wants to stack up on 323-825-5045, which is fine. But tonight, you don't have a choice. So there you go. Okay, 323-825-5045. Earlier today, over at On Stellar, I posted the audio for Art Bell's message to his fans last night that we caught with Karen A. Dahlman and her board partner, Rodney, last night because we did live Ouija on the air. And all of that is posted over at OnStellar. You can go check it out, OnStellar.com, OnStellar.com, the next great social media network. When you get over there, send me your friend request after you upload a profile pic. You can also follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. And it is Thursday night, Fader night, which means we are going to bust through probably 2,000 tweets tonight. So follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. And any questions or comments, hashtag F2BQ. If you want to participate in the sandbox, you can do just that at hashtag F2B. We have two chat rooms open, like we do every night, one over on Spreaker and one over at KGRA. So if chat rooms are your thing, which I understand, you have choices. Okay? All right. The stuff from last night, too, as well. The Ouija show was just posted over at YouTube, as well as just the Art Bell clip. And I chose to do that. And more on that in just a bit. Okay, you can also email Jimmy at jimmychurchradio.com. Okay, and it's Fader night. It's Thursday night. It's the best night of the week. My favorite night of the week. We had just an amazing day today. Somebody just posted, anyway, our daughter, Deanna, went to Armenia for 10 days with the family. And obviously, Rita and I stayed back, but we just picked her up from LAX, and I missed her so much. She's over there having a great time in Armenia, and she was FaceTiming, and she went to these ancient churches, and she went to, like, the first Christian church, right? She went there all over the place and FaceTiming, and you just have to love what technology can provide, but it wasn't enough. She's back. So that was our day today, and I'm just in a great mood. Okay, let's see. Yeah, you saw the picture of Deanna and I that was posted last week, right? Back Christmas, like 2005, she's 10, and she's got a passport and just flew internationally and went to another country. And that's a weird feeling, man, as a parent, to take your child to the airport, and they're going to fly Aeroflot to Moscow and then over to Yerevan. Oh, man. And check into a hotel, right? But she did, and she had a great time. She's back. Okay. I was going to say something. I had something else I wanted to mention. Somebody just posted. Oh, JoLynn Turner. Okay, that came in from Mark Tarana. JoLynn Turner today is 66 years old. That's right, Deep Purple and Rainbow. And but this is what is really funny, because I saw that Rainbow pic here with JoLynn Turner. I want to give a shout out. I don't ever do this, but I'm going to do it now because he may be listening. He's over in Spain. And that is Graham Bonnet's new guitar player, Kurt James. That's right. Kurt James is in the Graham Bonnet band now. And Kurt wrote us about 2 weeks ago, just out of the blue. And, and I get the email. I'm like, oh, man. So I turn around and I called Graham and texted him and called him and talked about Kurt. And so Kurt, well, anyway, and then just a couple of weird things. Kurt wrote back today saying that he heard the shout-outs on the air, and he can't wait to talk some paranormal. So I'm really looking forward to this. They're in the middle of a European tour. They just arrived in Spain. But Kurt, if you're listening, I did get your email today, and I can't wait to get you guys on the show. I mean, I've got to get Graham back, and maybe we should do two separate shows, one with Kurt and one with Graham. But big shout out to Kurt. I did get your email. Okay, I never do that, right? When was the last time you heard me do a shout out on the air? I don't think ever, actually. Okay, I won't make it a habit, but man, I just love guitar. I just do. All right. Lots to talk about tonight. So much to talk about. Let's get everything out of the way so we can get to the bottom of the hour as quick as we can. And where am I at? Breaking news, by the way. Today, a couple of things happened. One, there was an announcement about Stonehenge, and who, I'm going to talk about this later on tonight, and who actually built it. There were 25 bodies that were being scientifically looked at in the lab, and they've got it broken down now, and they're not from... Now, before you want to jump and go, what, are they from Egypt? No, but they're not from locally there either. And 10... Okay, more on that in a little bit. And also, for the last year... fast radio bursts have been picked up, and I'm going to talk about that later on tonight too as well. And this is a new radio telescope that has been picking them up. What is actually going on? So we'll talk about that at the top of the hour too as well. All right, and my little public service message that I want to get out of the way. If you're going to Soul Tech next week, you need to get your food ordered for our caterer. Please go to soultechgathering.com, and if you would like to go to Soul Tech, you can check there to see if there are any full passes left. I think there may be day passes. I'm not sure. I should have checked on that today. I had a busy day today. But I should have checked on that. Go to soultechgathering.com. I think we're sold out. See what you can do. But definitely get your food ordered. Okay? All right. And then a week after that, I'll be out in Colorado for Dimensions of Disclosure. Tickets and information, dimensionsofdisclosure.com. Corey Good, David Wilcock, Emery Smith, and 20 other speakers and presenters are going to be there. I'm going to host the panel. And I'll be doing that Sunday night. So I'll see all of you there in Colorado. Right now, let's. I'm going to jump ahead. Let's get everything out of the way here because each year when every day I do birthday stuff, and the reason why I do it for people that influence my life. That's what I do. I don't do everybody. I don't do just anybody. And if I say happy birthday to somebody, they influenced me. And every year I say happy birthday to Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith today is 48. And forget about all of his movies because they're all good. Every one. But there was one that absolutely changed me. And if you haven't seen it, you need to go and check it out so you can understand what I'm saying here. There's a reason why Kevin Smith is on this list every single year. And that is for his documentary, Dogma. And if you haven't seen it, it's a necessity. Dogma by Kevin Smith. Go and check it out. Edward Furlong today is 41. That's right. Edward played John Connor in Terminator 2. And he was also amazing in another movie, one of my favorites, John Waters' film, Pecker. And if you haven't checked that out, that's another movie that not only is it incredibly funny, but it is very well written and completely original. And Edward Furlong killed it in that movie. Just killed it. He was discovered at some, like the library, the footsteps of the Boys and Girls Club in Pasadena, some urban legend, right? Found by a casting director, wasn't an actor, got picked up and thrown right into Terminator 2. And then, he turned 20 and drugs and crime entered his life. But Pecker was amazing, and he was great in Terminator 2. So there you go. Wasn't he in, like, Pet Sematary? Pet Sematary 2? Man, that's going back. I'd have to think about that. Our dead guy's, speaking of Pet Sematary, our dead guy's birthday today is Wes Craven. 1939 to 2015, died at the age of 76. Director who introduced the world to Freddy Krueger in the Nightmare on Elm Street series and totally redefined the horror genre with his, semi-satirical horror comedy films. Like, there were funny moments in Nightmare on Elm Street. How about Scream, right? How many Screams did they make? Like 10, right? And he also did The Hills Have Eyes. That was pretty good, actually. The Last House on the Left, that was great. Not as good as the original. Red Eye, which I did enjoy. And, of course, Wes Craven's New Nightmare. On August 30th, 2015, Craven died of brain cancer at his home right here in Los Angeles, California, 4 weeks after his 76th birthday. On this day in history, OTD, 1990, Iraq invades Kuwait. And within hours, Kuwait City had been captured, and the Iraqis had established a provincial government, gaining control of 20% of the world's oil reserves. On this day in 1990. Fader fact. Write this one down. 83% of Americans drink coffee. Did you hear what I just said? 83% of Americans drink coffee. 64% of Americans drink coffee all day long. Seriously. And that is your Fader fact. Let me hit this coffee. Love my Fade to Black blend. It's the best. You know, they got that 20% off deal right now. Go to River Moon Coffee. Click on the banner. That's right. Use the promo code Coffee Break. 2 words. 20% off of everything, including our Fade to Black blend. Tonight is another Fader night. Jon Rappoport is here with his No More Fake Newsroom Live with a special guest at the top of the hour. Matthew Ryan is going to be here. Help me man the phones. And he's going to be up at ECETI next week teaching. So we're going to talk about that. Take your phone calls. And there's lots to talk about. There is, and I do want to hear from you. We're going to run one phone number tonight, 323-825-5045. That's what I have to do. There you go. All right, so last night, we finally did a live Ouija session. Live on the air. Waited 3 years to do this, and of course, we did it with Karen A. Dahlman and her board partner, Rodney. And yes, it was an amazing show. And I had such a great time. And what happened was not at all what I expected. And I'm not sure what I expected, actually. I thought that the answers were going to be short and sweet, you know, yes and no, maybe, right? But what ended up happening was these paragraphs. I don't know how else to put it, actually. You know, because I thought they were going to be simple, short, and we'd be able to do 50 or 100 questions in 2.5 hours. Let me be very clear here. The opposite actually occurred. After the first question and answer, I was completely taken aback. It was a quick question for sure. I get that. But the answer was a couple of paragraphs long, and I didn't expect that at all. I was only able to get in 2 questions per 25-minute segment. Watching them last night on the video camera was something to behold. The planchette was just whizzing around the board. I've never done it before. Very complex stuff going down, and no mistakes. Everything was just like magic. It was really trippy. And I don't have a way to explain it. Plus, it all caught me completely by surprise. I've never done Ouija before. Okay, I've seen videos, and even the videos that I have seen were nothing like what went down last night. So, I decided to ask a question of Art Bell. And yeah, I know it's a very touchy area to go into. He did just die. Plus, his coroner's report was released hours before the show yesterday. But it's live radio, and I thought that I might not get this chance again. So, you know, why not? And the reason why it happened at the time when it did was because after I did an Egypt question or two, and was Roswell, I saw how things were going down with Karen and Rodney, and I was watching it, and I realized at that point you have to understand what I'm saying here. It's done with precision, and it's very, 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 very fast. It's not at all what I expected, and so when you're watching those two, Karen's got one finger on the planchette. One. She's writing with her other hand. And this thing is going zit, 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 and she's writing the letters down, calling them out. And in the end, see, I thought it was going to be a sentence, 10 words, 5 words, 2 words. It wasn't like that. And you heard that last night. So I was like, okay, she's connected. There's something going down. I wonder if What about Art Bell? You know, and part of the reason why Art just popped into my mind at that moment was that his fans were reading and hearing about the coroner's report yesterday. And so, you know, emotions are running around. And I thought, Art, do you have a message for your fans? Simple question, right? I read his answer so many times today. And, yeah, after further review, I believe it was really Art Bell. And this was his answer. The question was, do you have a message for your fans? And this was the answer. Quote, all things are done by choice and there are no accidents. Though not a deliberate act, there was purpose behind the decisions I made. I know now and not that. I know that now and not then. This was a decision I made freely. This I know as well. No, this is my final sign-off as I fade to black. End quote. Now, just like right now, I'm reading it, and last night I read through it. It didn't make sense to me. I read the letters out of sequence. You can combine them differently and come up with different words. But once you correctly write it out, and then it's there and you read it, I was like, holy crap. All things are done by choice and there are no accidents. It's pretty heavy. And you have to remember that Karen and Rodney are... And I was just, I'm good Egypt and things. This, this is a very... How do I say this? It sounded like Art. The next line, though not a deliberate act, there was purpose behind the decisions I made. That's crazy. I know that now and not then. This was a decision I made freely. What is he talking about here? His death? This I know as well. This last line, no, this is my final sign-off as I fade to black. Well, you can think what you want. That is up to you. But I watched this whole thing go down myself. I watched it happen. I wrote it down in real time, too. Last night, I didn't read it right. I didn't read it right on the air. I didn't read it right privately. And it didn't make any sense to me. And as I wrote it out, the letters were just running together. And, I don't know anything. Today, it totally feels different. For Karen and Rodney to just fly through this, it just blows my mind. I wish that all of you could have been here watching it happen. That last line, no, this is my final sign-off as I fade to black, I had written the letters out of sequence, and you can see what I wrote. I posted it today. It's over at OnStellar. I think it's on Twitter. It may even be over on Facebook. I don't know. But you can see, I'm looking at it here, you can see that I wrote it out of sequence. And so the last line I wrote, because the letters are run all together, I wrote, sign off as if a D to black. That's how I read it. I'm like, doesn't make any sense. Sign off as if a D to black. And then you recombine, respace out, sign off as I fade to black. So it all caught me by surprise. And today, reading it back, I don't know what to think. But when Karen read it back last night, I was just completely speechless, and today I still am. You can go to our YouTube channel where we have posted just the Art Bell segment, and you can hear it all go down in case you missed it last night. It's truly amazing, and what you should do, you now know what the message is, but do what I did last night. Just write down the letters as Karen calls them out. Just write it out in one block. That's all you got to do, just like I did. and then take a look at that and feel it. It was pretty amazing. It's pretty astounding. I don't know what to make of it. I do know, reading through the comments and the posts and the tweets and the emails that came in all day long. I think everybody kind of feels the same way that I do. It feels like art. And I'm not trying to suggest things. I'm not trying to give leading answers or leading questions or anything like that. It is what it is. And you can hear it go down. And I want everybody to just, judge it for yourself. What do you think? And when there's something else I want you to do in totality, in case you missed it, or maybe go back, because I did part of it today. Go back and listen to the entire show and take it all in context and put it all together, and how each one of these questions, and I didn't get to ask many. I think I did 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I think 10 questions last night. That was it. Just 10. And every one, I tried to get these. I asked for a yes or no answer. I never got that. And when you see Karen and Rodney fly through this, I'm saying this without, I'm being serious here, fly through this. No mistakes. Every letter deliberate. And you get to the end and you've got a full page of a message. And to watch them do it, something is connected here. Ouija is extraordinary. Now, I want to do it again. I would like to do something in private too as well, but I also want to do it again live on the air. That was a lot of fun last night. That really, really messed with me. And you can go and check out everything for yourself. We have all of the links up. Of course, it's up on Twitter, and it's over at onstellar.com as well. Tonight, Jon Rappoport is here with his No More Fake Newsroom. But after that, at the top of the hour, Matthew Ryan is going to be here. And if you remember, going back, I had Matthew on both Fade to Black and Coast to Coast in the same week. Matthew's sighting and contact that he had in New Mexico or Arizona. Was it Arizona or New Mexico? It was Arizona. One of the most extraordinary sightings that I have ever encountered myself. And I've heard from everybody. But Matthew Ryan is with us tonight. He has since taken not only his contact and his information, but his channeling and the things that he does and his healing. And he's going to be teaching next week up at Soul Tech. So that's going to happen at the top of the hour, and he's going to help me take phone calls here. So we've got a great night lined up here on Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'm going to get out of here and get Jon Rappoport in with his No More Fake Newsroom Live. We're going to use one call-in number tonight, 323-825-5045. We're going to stack them up right there. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Email is jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. And I'll be right back with Jon Rappoport and his No More Fake Newsroom Live on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. Stay with us.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black Blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
What can I say about the most popular tea on the internet? And what do customers say about Life Change Tea at getthetea.com? A lot. But by federal law, we at getthetea.com cannot make claims to how this product can enhance your health. We cannot even post our testimonies without being in compliance. So how do we get past the hump? Try our products at getthetea.com and see for yourself. You can send us a testimony, but we just can't post it. Bummer. Our products are GMO-free and organic. We pride ourselves in being the best we can be, and we urge you to take charge of your health. We're 11 years strong, and many of our customers have shared their successes with friends and family. Protect your colon. Log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Getthetea.com. Getthetea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Win big with KGRA this summer. Tickets and hotel accommodations to the biggest conferences, autographed books and DVDs, chances to win all-inclusive conference cruises, and private dinners with your favorite KGRA hosts. Click the contest tab at kgraradio.com for your chance to win big this summer. Your contact for the best alternative talk radio on the planet. kgraradio.com.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
And now, coming to you from the No More Fake newsroom in deep space, which is the space that we suspect to be true, that the world as it is fed to us every day by the ministry of truth is a lie, a false reality. A movie projected on the screen of our subconscious. This, however, is the breakout. All the screens crash, they all go down, and we see the light of day. A new day. No more robots. No more androids. It's the No More Fake Newsroom with Jon Rappoport. Take it away, John.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you. Good to be here, folks, as always, with a report on a Thursday night. This is one of the first stories that I reported on Fade to Black. And the reason that I'm going over it again is because I'm expanding it, but also for those of you who have been here for a while, just check yourself and see if your perception, your logic, your depth of understanding has made some progress over the months. I would think it has. I think probably for many of you that is the case. Because this is a 2-3-part story that I'm going to boil down and connect here. It's got some logic in it. It's got this, well, this is true, so therefore that's got to be true, and therefore this is true. But if this is true, that contradicts everything we've been told. Everything by the ministers of truth. I thrive on that kind of reporting, and I have great confidence in it because it is not only workable, but it is correct. Absolutely correct. some other people who are not as familiar with logic and tracing an argument from one thing to another, one step, one layer, are not as confident. They need to develop that confidence. We need this more than ever in a world that has pretty much gone completely insane when it comes to dealing with information in the information age. Okay, so with that, let me give you a quote from the National Geographic, October 30th, 2014. To handle all that pig farm feces waste, farmers in North Carolina use a standard practice called the lagoon and spray field system. They flush feces and urine from barns into open-air pits called lagoons, which turn the color of Pepto-Bismol when pink-colored bacteria colonize the waste. To keep the lagoons from overflowing, farmers spray liquid manure on their fields nearby. The result, says Steve Wing, an epidemiologist at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, is this, quote, "The eastern part of North Carolina is covered with bleep." You supply the word. Feces, pig feces. The eastern part of North Carolina is covered with it. The above quote describes corporate pig farming around the world. I'm reading from my own article now, posted at No More Fake News. In order to carry out this operation, giant companies like Smithfield have influenced legislators and government agency officials. Environmental laws and regulations are changed or modified or modulated. Lawsuits are fought hammer and tongs. Here's what Robert F. Kennedy Jr. told a radio interviewer on June 3rd, 2016. Catch this, folks. A hog produces 10 times the amount of fecal waste by weight as a human being. So if you have a facility that has 10,000 hogs in it, it's producing as much sewage as a city of 100,000 people. Smithfield has one plant in Utah, they call it Circle 4 Farms, that has 1 million hogs on it. So it's producing the same amount of waste as New York City every day. End quote. And then Kennedy goes on. There's no difference between hog waste and human waste in terms of its danger to human health. They, meaning giant pig operations, ought to have a sewage treatment plant that cleans it up. And yet, if they had to build that sewage treatment plant, it would drive the price of hogs up so that they could no longer function in the marketplace. That's the company. They ought to have to build sewage treatment facilities, but nobody's making them do that because they've used political clout. Make sure you understand that point. What Kennedy is saying is, hey, these pig farmers, because they are depositing these lagoons of feces, that are incredibly toxic all over the landscape here, should have to build sewage treatment plants right there at their facilities and treat all of this waste instead of letting it lie out in the sun and clean it up. But nobody's making these companies do that. All right? So now, and here's how the story expands. That's step one, what I just went over. Now we come to the subject of swine flu, the phony epidemic of 2009. Swine flu, aka pig flu. Where did it start? At a Smithfield Corporation pig-raising operation in Perote, Mexico, in a village called La Gloria. Smithfield raises 950,000 hogs a year there. Press reports described outdoor pig feces lagoons on the property. When workers began to get sick, the area was sprayed with unknown chemicals. More workers fell ill. Anyone with a basic knowledge of public health could testify that this combination of mind-boggling non-sanitation plus strong germicides plus other toxic chemicals routinely dumped in the feces lagoons could and would cause human disease. In fact, it doesn't matter which particular germs are present in the pig feces chemical mix. That's very important to understand, folks. It doesn't really matter which particular germs are present. You build, literally, these giant pig feces lagoons rotting and percolating in the sun and add toxic chemicals to that, people in the vicinity are going to get very sick. It's going to happen. You don't have to be looking for which particular germs are there. And I go on with my article. People at the CDC had to be well aware of this. Yet in 2009, their choice was to rush researchers to the Smithfield operation in La Gloria, Mexico, armed with the unfounded assumption that some novel virus never before seen was the culprit, and their job was to take blood samples and discover what the new virus was. Why? Why assume when workers who operate in that kind of environment get sick, there is some new disease at work? The symptoms of the workers were not unusual, given the circumstances. Workers getting ill and even dying in that vat of filth and chemical soup should be expected. But up front, based on no evidence, the CDC on-site team in La Gloria, Mexico, was going for a new germ and a new disease, and that's what they announced they had found. A gullible world fed by press reports bought in. And that's how the fake epidemic called swine flu was launched. All the focus that could have centered on the highly toxic Smithfield pig operation in La Gloria was diverted. And I'm talking about strong regulatory focus. Agencies that would demand, for example, they build a sewage treatment plant there, very expensive. Clean up the environment, not part of the CDC scheme. Everything was diverted to a virus. It was called H1N1, the swine flu virus. Suddenly, it was a medical problem, not an environmental disaster. It was reinvented as a medical problem, a medical disease. If you don't yet get what I'm pointing out here, imagine this. You're living in an old sewage tunnel under a city. You're surrounded by human excrement and biting insects and fetid wastewater and foul air. And when you fall ill, you suddenly see virus hunting researchers, not hazmat rescue workers, approach you and take blood samples. Are they crazy? They're just doing what their bosses tell them to do, because the CDC is fronting for and protecting major corporate agricultural offenders, because illness has to be shifted over from an environmental catastrophe to a, quote, new disease with a new virus. On top of this, and now we continue with swine flu here, the virus that these researchers did find, which is in no way proven to cause disease, no way proven to cause disease. Let me explain. It's a medical hoax. In the early autumn of 2009, CBS reporter Cheryl Atkinson discovered that the CDC had stopped counting swine flu cases in America. Why? Secretly stopped counting. Why? Because the overwhelming percentage of blood samples taken from, quote, the most likely swine flu patients, when sent to labs for testing, were coming back with no trace of the so-called swine flu virus or any other flu virus. CBS published the report and then never followed through with any investigation. The virus as the cause of illness was the cover story. That's what the CDC provided. They provided it through their intelligence program for doctors, like a medical CIA, that are tasked to find viruses and more viruses and more viruses. They invent medical reality out of thin air. They protect corporations doing massive damage to the environment and human life. This is what is happening, folks. I also, in the article, provide some interesting early information from the 1950s about the creation of the so-called Epidemic Intelligence Service at the CIA, at the CDC, which is a version of what I would call a medical CIA. So you can read a little history on that. But suffice to say, these researchers from the CDC are not sent out into the world with the command, find the environmental problem and tell us exactly what it is that's causing people to get ill. No. The propensity is, find us a virus and we'll call it a medical disease that needs to be treated with drugs and vaccines. And then we can ignore the environmental catastrophe altogether because it's been magically transformed into a, quote, disease. Total fakery. Total fakery. But it's very effective because the CDC and other agencies that are allied with it have tremendous control over government work and the media. They front for the medical cartel. And then I write in the article, there's a town of poverty-stricken people who are dying because horrendous pesticides are running into the water supply and soil. No, it's a virus. There's a hotel where the plumbing is broken and human waste is getting into all the bathrooms. But the CDC would like this hotel to be the epicenter of a new epidemic, a medical disease. No, it isn't the plumbing. It's a novel virus never seen before by man. There's a section of a city where the industrial pollution is driving people over the edge into immune system collapse. No, it's a virus. It's a virus. That's what they're selling. That's how they operate. That's what they're doing. And of course, in the meantime, this enables them to sell huge quantities of vaccines that are developed to treat these so-called new diseases. It's quite fantastic, folks. Think about this. I think you can follow the logic. And that is my report for tonight.
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. I was watching in Twitter. Somebody said, John, I'm eating my lunch, dude.
Right. Sorry about that.
The waste industry, right? Now, we have everything that you were just talking about right there, but waste is used all over the place where we just may not be aware as well. It's very profitable.
Indeed. There's the old cliche about the mafia is always in the waste management business, right?
Right. And it makes you wonder, and in listening to this, where these different outbreaks, not only the pig stuff, but chickens as well. The latest epidemic that is predicted, the latest catastrophe, is something that we quite possibly are manufacturing ourselves.
Well, sure. Anytime that you get what are called these factory farms, where there are gigantic numbers of animals cramped into very small spaces, and the quality control is really horrendous, you're going to get all kinds of waste products that are toxic in and of themselves. You don't need any sophisticated analysis to figure out that if you were to send a few CDC doctors in there and set them up with cots and tell them they're going to live there for a few weeks, that they're all going to get sick.
And there's, isn't there a way, and for all of these large production facilities, they've got the wastewater ponds out there. I mean, it's just disgusting. Is it that they don't want to spend the money to properly dispose of and get rid of and neutralize all of this? They would just rather have, a thunderstorm come through and all of this stuff just goes into our drinking water supply. That's the part that freaks me out.
Yeah, it's definitely a freak out. I would point everybody to Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s fantastic book called Crimes Against Nature. I think he wrote it in 2004. I read it about 6 months ago. It's fantastic. He goes one step further, Jimmy. He says they should be, of course, commanded to build these treatment plants right there at these giant factory farms to process all of the toxic waste and so forth. He said, but it turns out by doing the numbers analysis of how much this would cost them, that they would then fail to make a profit on their operation. They would not be making a profit anymore because it would be very expensive to do that. And that's why they're not doing it. That's why they're doing everything in their power politically to avoid any kind of legislation or ruling that would demand that they have a treatment plant ongoing right there at the facility. Because factory farming only works, economically speaking, if you don't have to clean up everything.
That's right. That's right. It comes down to that. The part of the industry, I'm going to say this was about 15 years ago. I actually went to a chicken processing plant. Now just imagine this. And I had to wear full scrubs, right? Full scrubs over the top of my, the whole thing, hair, glove, full. I looked like a surgeon.
Right.
So I go in and I didn't know what to expect, but this was a high-end establishment. Okay, so that's the good news. And my point with that, I thought I was going in there for the big freak out. Very clean, very high quality, but that was the end of the chain. That wasn't where the chickens came from, right? Okay,
right.
I'm looking at the end of it. And I came out of there. I was freaked out. I thought I was going to be pretty grossed out. Well, I was, but I was happy how clean it was and how careful it was. But this was expensive poultry. Right?
Yes.
On the other end of the scale, where it is mass production, the only way to maximize profits is to ignore the health and safety of all of us. And that's the bottom line.
And if Kennedy is right, and it seemed to me that he is, the only way to even make profit, forget maximizing it, on these large facilities is to ignore the waste problem completely.
Yeah, and I watched a couple of documentaries last year about this, and it's disturbing to see. But the documentaries that I was watching was the profitability of these farms, because they're all being bought up by large corporations now. There's only there used to be hundreds of independent meat and poultry companies across the United States. Now there's 6. They own everything, right? But how to turn a profit, and they want quality. The companies that are buying their stuff from them want quantity. That is it, and they have to shortcut, and do everything they can to turn a small profit, so these families that run these places can eat. Right? It's not that profitable, and it's only profitable if you cut corners and you make these demands, and the quality of the product is dropped too as well. And it freaks me out. It freaks me out about what is being bought in our stores, and how these animals are actually living before it hits your table. That's the part that, and we have the human side of it, but we also have what is going on with these animals on these large farms too. And it's a circle. It's a cycle.
You bet. 2 quick things. One is Smithfield, which is the largest pig, I was going to say manufacturer, may as well. I mean, it's pig farming operation in the world, was bought by a Chinese company in 2013. So that's, a huge corporation that is now run from the top by China.
And Smithfield owns all of the pork in the United States, just about.
Huge. I mean, it's gotten bigger, and biggest, and now they sold off to the Chinese.
I did not know that.
The other thing is, I've been watching with my wife the Food Channel on and off for the past year, where you see people that are going out into the field, quite entertaining, to restaurants all over the country, most of them nobody's ever heard of, where they're mom and pop operations. They've been in the family for 3 or 4 generations. A surprising number of these are still, in a sense, doing the processing, or some of the processing of meat, on their own. They've kind of decentralized. They know how to do it. They're not doing the farming so much, but the rest of the operation they are doing. So there is, sort of under the surface, what you could call some wildcat activity, but by and large, it's all corporate.
Yeah, and like I said, I was at that processing plant here in Los Angeles as a guest, and was able to go in there, and I was, wow. I mean, clean, nothing, no strange smells. I thought I was going to just freak out. But again, that's the end. That's the end. That's not the beginning, and that's the part that scares me the most. John, thank you so much, man. That was absolutely frightening and amazing and informative all at the same time. You're the very best.
Thank you, Jimmy, so much.
We'll see you next week.
Yep.
Jon Rappoport. Start your day every day at nomorefakenews.com. All right, it's Fader Night. Going to have Matthew Ryan in here right after the break. Of course, he's going to be speaking next week up at Soul Tech. And Rita just let me know a few minutes ago that there are weekend passes left. You can go to SoulTechGathering.com and get yours now. We'll see you next week at Soul Tech. I'll be right back with Matthew Ryan. Stay with me.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Does your basement or crawl space have a damp, musty smell? Well, watch out. That's a sign of too much moisture and not enough ventilation. And that can mean increased mold growth and the buildup of harmful toxins and gases. Don't bother with a dehumidifier. It just circulates the same unhealthy air. Now there's a better way to remove these dangers and odors. It's with the computerized Wave Moisture Control Unit that reduces moisture and expels pollutants.
We replaced our old dehumidifier with the Wave unit, and in only 3 weeks, our basement is dry and the musty smell is gone.
Wave units require no maintenance, no buckets of water or filters, and costs only pennies a day to run. Breathe better, live healthier with an affordable, no-maintenance Wave unit. Call 888-717-WAVE, 888-717-WAVE, or visit dryhealthyhome.com, dryhealthyhome.com.
Ride the wave, Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And this is Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers. We're of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. It's Thursday night, Fader Night. Open lines all night long. And tonight, sitting beside me, helping me with the phones tonight, is Matthew Ryan. Matthew, he's a seer. He's a healer from Taos, New Mexico. And over the last 18 years, he's developed a unique, energetic healing modality called gamma wave healing, named after his ability to enter into a gamma state while facilitating healings. Now, Matthew's journey began at an early age, and as a child, he had certain abilities that opened doorways into perceiving non-ordinary realities, such as communicating with animals, lucid dreams, and out-of-body experiences. Then when he was 19, he had a series of events that took place, which shook loose his apparent place in the world and eventually propelled him on a major course correction towards spirit, his authentic self, and purpose. In 2004, following a move to Taos, New Mexico, Matthew had a close encounter with a UFO, forever changing the direction of his path. Tonight, we're going to talk about his abilities. We're going to talk about other dimensions and contact with ETs. And we're also going to talk about what he's going to teach up at Soul Tech. And I would like to welcome back to Fade to Black our good friend, Matthew Ryan. Matthew, good evening.
Hey, how you doing, Jimmy? Thanks for having me.
It's good to hear your voice.
Yeah, good to talk to you too, man.
Are you ready? Are you ready for Soul Tech?
You know, I am ready for Soul Tech. I'm really excited for a number of reasons. I've been actually to nearly all of the states in the United States, and Washington, funny enough, is one of the only places I've not been to. And so, going up there and visiting the ECETI Ranch for this conference it's super exciting. And I've been wanting to go up to ECETI for several years. I've been following James's work up there, and it's such an extraordinary environment, such an extraordinary place and energy, and I'm just really excited to get up there, really honored to be able to participate and to share with everybody.
Now, for somebody to go up there that doesn't have any special abilities, or maybe they're a skeptic, or, you have that side, they're going to go there and have an extraordinary experience. But for somebody that's gifted like yourself, man, are you prepared? It's going to come and find you pretty easily.
That's one of the things that I'm super excited about, for myself, obviously, to get up there and to have these experiences. But, one of the things I'm really most psyched about is that my 13-year-old son is coming with me. And I'm really expecting that he's going to have his doors blown off a little bit, and he's really an incredible young man and is like kind of opening up in a really beautiful way right now, like spiritually. And I took him to his first sweat lodge ever last night, like as kind of part of a coming of age ceremony, and so I'm really excited to be able to get him up there to East City and to have him, be able to sit in and listen to all these incredible speakers and to, just kind of, just like everybody else, to be able to kind of shift their perspective a little bit. And so I'm really, really excited about being able to share the whole experience with him also.
What's his name?
His name is Ryder.
Ryder. That's a cool name. It's a cool name.
Yeah.
Another close friend of mine, his son is Ryder too as well. I guess that's a trending name these days. Or 13 years ago. Yeah. But how do you prepare him for something like this? Does he know who James is or Jason Quitt or Teresa Yanaris or Michaela? How do you prep him?
Well, I've talked with him a little bit about, the whole situation, and, I'm friends with Teresa, and I've mentioned her to him, and, and James, I've talked a little bit about James and his work, and, a little bit about Jason. I don't know Jason really well, but, really looking forward to connect with him and everybody else, and so, I've been trying to share with him some of the information that I'm familiar with, that everybody's going to be presenting. And, but I also, though, I kind of want him to formulate his own experience. And so I'm just kind of prepping a little bit and mainly talking mostly like about the ranch and the energy and kind of the format of the, of the conference, because he's going to have, time on his own to be able to go in and sit in on people's presentations and not be obligated to sit in on all the dads, so.
Now, and he's 13. He's got to be a Bigfoot fan.
He actually is. And funny enough, I mean, oddly enough, I'm actually wearing a t-shirt. We have matching t-shirts that I bought us that are kind of like, it's kind of like pop art. I think it was an album cover, maybe from like Pearl Jam or the Foo Fighters or something, which is Bigfoot skateboarding with a headband on, and I got us these matching shirts, figuring that maybe we could call it in a little bit when we get up there to the ranch.
I can't wait. There's going to be a few young ones there, and which for me it's one of my favorite parts of going to different conferences where I get to meet those that are coming up. Right, they're going to replace us one day.
Oh, absolutely.
The circle of life, the cycle of life is a reality for all of us. But hanging out with them, it impresses me so much, Matthew, how smart these young ones are. They really are interested. They have, I was watching. This is really funny. I was watching last night with Rita the new Avengers movie, right? The Infinity War. Have you seen it yet?
Yeah. I did. Yeah, I saw it in the theater a little while ago.
Okay. Pretty incredible ending, right? Let's not ruin it for everybody. But, but kids these days, these are the movies that they go and see. About the universe and the possibility of life being out there and what it is. They totally get it, man. You sit down and want to talk ET to somebody that's 13, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 years old. They know more about it than you and I put together.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this generation, I have a daughter that's 11 also, and this generation that is coming up right now is just extraordinary. I mean, people really refer to them like as the crystalline children, and they're really extraordinary. They have knowledge that like they shouldn't have. They have access, like direct access to information, and and it's amazing. Like last night, bringing my son into this sweat lodge, which, a friend of mine who's an old medicine man that lives here in around Taos, he's been leading a vision quest for, I think it was 8 people for the last week, and they're coming out of the vision quest. They finished this morning, and so last night was the last sweat lodge for the supporters to like send energy and support. And so, my son and I attended the sweat lodge, and they really like the man that was leading the sweat lodge, the medicine man, he really honored my son and like spoke about, the need and how beautiful it is, but the need for these young people to, to come in and to engage these things that, don't involve electronics, that do involve, ancient traditions and ancient wisdom. And, it was just really incredible. And when it came time, as we go around inside the sweat lodge, everybody offering prayers, and my son, he's never had to do anything like that before in his life. And he offered up this beautiful prayer and, and asked for some healing on his sister's friend who has just been recently diagnosed with leukemia. And it's just like, wow, this generation of children is extraordinary. And if we can just get it into their hands over the next like 10 to 15 years, like the earth is going to be in just fine shape,
How long was it?
The sweat lodge?
Yeah.
It was a while. It was 4 rounds. I mean, it got hot, and and I was really blown away. I mean, I was sitting next to him, and I checked in with him several times, like kind of whispering, just making sure that he was feeling okay and like not getting lightheaded. And he was so strong, and and he's a big kid too. You'll see him when you meet him up there. He's about 6'2" and 195 pounds, and he's only 13.
Wait. He's 13, 6'2", and $195.
Yeah, absolutely. Every bit of it. He's like 3 inches taller than me right now. It's he's so funny. We go into public and he puts his arm around me and his shoulder's on top of my shoulder, and he stands tall, just smiling. He loves being taller than his dad.
Wow, that is crazy. That is that.
Yeah.
I went through that with my brothers too as well. They're all bigger than I am. Now, let's get to a couple of things. Okay, the phone lines. I'm going to go ahead and open them up now, everybody. I know you've been calling in, and I've just let everything go. 323-825-5045. One number, 323-825-5045. And that'll take about 20 seconds to cycle through, Matthew. So here we go. Okay. It is Soul Tech. We're going to have a couple of hundred FADERNIGHTs up there. Awesome. What is your program, your curriculum?
So I'm going to be presenting on 2 days, actually, on the first 2 themed days, day 1 being the Awaken and day 2 being the Explore. And so basically the theme on the first day, what I'm going to be doing is teaching a workshop that is, we're going to go over some really cool, very current information, talking about the energies that are going on now and like really, talking about the individualized awakening process. And I'm going to share an activation through a guided meditation, which is really the foundation of my entire healing modality that's developed, which I call checking in. And so everybody that'll participate in that is going to receive this activation, and you will have a very practical tool that will help you to gain access into information and energy, healing, etc. And so that'll be a really great way to kind of start the journey. And then on the second day, the workshop that I'm going to do is going to really focus on 2 primary things. There'll also be activations. One that is going to be helping people to consciously access and work with the Metatron field, the field of energy and consciousness associated with Archangel Metatron. And we're also going to do another activation that is kind of a new thing for me that I've been working with recently, accessing the universal light grid, which is a web of energy and light that just weaves through everything, in creation, and is really an extraordinary tool to be able to utilize. And so I'm really excited to be able to share these things that I've learned, and people are going to come away with very practical easy to use, very, very powerful tools to help them on their journey.
Even somebody like me can get activated.
Don't sell yourself short, buddy.
Now
but I understand. I know what you're saying. No,
I know.
It's available. It's available to everybody. And the thing that I always say is that if you can use an imagination, if you've ever, been able to imagine anything, like if you could sit there and close your eyes and you can visualize your car sitting in your garage or out on the street, then you can do this work. I mean, it's really, it's not that, it doesn't require special abilities, and I've been really blessed in the way that this was kind of given to me, that it makes it very accessible.
You ready to start taking some calls?
Yeah, man.
All right, let's do it. Let's go to area code 506. You're up first tonight on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, it's Vicky from Canada's East Coast.
Hi, Vicky. How are you?
I'm good. Pretty excited you guys are getting to go off to East Eddie Ranch.
Are you going?
I wish. I was there actually a month ago, though, so I went to the conference that they had in July.
And
because I knew I couldn't make it when you were going to be there.
Well, is this the first time, Vicky, that you had been to East Eddie?
It is. It was. It won't be my last.
Now, so what? Okay, come on now. You can't stop there. So what happened?
I had a fabulous experience while I was there. Didn't really know what I was going to see when I got there. Wasn't, 100% sure because, it was my first time, and I thought you hear stuff and you don't know for sure, how it's going to be for you kind of thing in your experience. And anyway, basically the first night I was there, it was really cold. I went to bed about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I had to get up in the middle of the night to go to the washroom. And on my way back, I caught something out of the corner of my eye, and I looked over and saw this big black figure going across the field of dreams.
Oh, here we go.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Vicky. I have to ask you. Life changing?
Oh, forever. I will never be the same.
Wow.
Never be the same. And for me, it wasn't only that I saw him go across the field, it's that I watched him dematerialize as he did it.
Oh, awesome.
So
man.
I had full on black figure, the head, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, I'm seeing Bigfoot. And as he's going across the field, about 5 very long steps later, I could see the trees behind him, through him.
Yeah.
And then he just completely disappeared. And then over where the medicine wheel is, there was 2 bright white light orb flashes, I want to say. There was no beam like a flashlight, it was just a white light. And then they were gone.
Wow.
The whole thing lasted 20 seconds, and I'm standing there half awake saying, what?
This is what is great about this, Ryan. What Vicky is sharing with me right now does not shock me at all. I am happy for her. I mean, these are the conversations and the experiences that go down out there every minute of the day. Right?
Yeah.
It's crazy town.
It's mind-blowing.
And it's fun. It is so much fun. Vicky, how long did you spend at East Eddie?
I was there a week. I showed up early and, stayed a few days extra on both ends. So, I was there for a week. Saw all kinds of ships, every night. Nothing up and close and personal like, your shots that you got, Jimmy. But,
right.
But, they were up there and, you just got to sit back and watch and it all happens. And the people up there were fabulous. Loved them all heart-centered people. The speakers were great.
Now,
had a lifelong chat with
I want to
Joe
know.
Notion and Clifford Mahooty.
Right.
And, it's these people are great. Yeah. And Teresa Yannaris.
Yes, she was there too as well. Okay.
She was.
Now, Vicky, Just go ahead.
Yeah.
I want you to be honest.
Okay.
What was your emotional state as you finally drove off the ranch and left on the last day?
I didn't want to go home.
I know.
I know, it's awful. You hate to leave. Like you feel like you're leaving like this family of yours behind, or this place. You just get so connected to it. I mean, you know, it doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're sitting there having your wonderful lunch and staring at the mountain, and you just have that wonderful vibe the whole time that you just kind of hum, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what goes on. And I wanted to ask you, it came and went. Ramses. Did you go hang out with Ramses, the goat?
No. Well, I mean, there was multiple goats. I'm not sure which one was Ramsey.
Oh, he's the only stud. He's the only stud out there. He's black. So last year, you would have noticed him. Last year when we were there, he was, I'll have to ask Rita, I'm going to say he was like a month old, right? I mean, a month old, little cruiser guy. You know, he's about a foot tall, 1.5 feet tall at the shoulders, little tiny 3-inch, 2-inch horns, right? And just cool as get out. I mean, just cool. And he's following me around, and we're hanging, and he was my bud.
You gotta love goats.
Goat, you know? I mean, what's better than that? I got to feed him and hang out. He was just so cool. And they were
man, but I saw Bigfoot.
I know. Well, I wanted to see how big Ramses is. I'm really looking forward to that next week. So back to Bigfoot, though. Okay, let's get back to this. What time of the night was your encounter?
I'm thinking it had to be like, well, I didn't have my phone on me, and I went from my tent out, so it was light enough for me to see where I was going. There was almost a full moon that night. It was just, well, about the same as it is now. It's like a month ago. So I'm thinking maybe 4 a.m, something like that.
Right.
So it was light enough that I could see, you know, but yeah, I didn't exactly, you know, check my watch. It was freezing.
And last year with Lorcan O'Toole and his sighting, that was about 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I can see that. But like I said, the figured that it was a little bit light. You know, sort of thought, well, you know, the moon could only make so much light. So I'm like, you know, I know it was before anybody else was around because it was pretty quiet out there. But yeah, it was just a really cool experience. And I mean, I kind of felt like I seen that for a reason. I did actually in my car on the way up sort of say, you know, I would love to be able to see one of you while I'm there. And then when I got there, I went to the circle and, you know, did all the parts of the medicine wheel and, you know, made my special request there too. So, I mean, I don't know if that made any difference, if it would have happened one way or the other. According to Joan and James, I was meant to see what I saw. So it's like, okay, well, what does that mean? Why, you know, why did I see that? Not just, you know, if I'd have just seen a Bigfoot, you know, that would have been one thing. But the fact that I saw it like dematerialize is the part that's really spun my world around.
Wow, man.
Well, and that's really the amazing thing, Vicki. I mean, that's you know, I've talked with some people that have done some research, you know, with you know, tracking down Bigfoot, and just even in my own experiences of you know, getting information around them, is that they absolutely, I've been told that they're like transdimensional beings, and that's why so many people don't see them, is because they phase out into some other frequency. And so when they present themselves, they are literally presenting themselves to you. So that's really, you know, that's really special. And thank you for sharing that. I'm really glad to hear that you witnessed it actually like phase out.
Yeah, I'm so
I think there's probably still a few people out there that think I'm pretty crazy, but no, I know what I saw. That's what I saw.
Yeah, I'm sorry that I'm going to miss you at Soul Tech, Vicki, but thank you for sharing that with us.
Well, that was awesome. And the food's great, Jimmy. You're good.
Yeah, I know. I've seen the menu. I cannot wait.
Yeah, we got new caterers. It's delicious. It's fresh. You'll love it.
Thank you so much. Vicki, behave and be well.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Vicki.
You too. Nothing like a first-time caller that's fresh from ECETI. And now I just posted, Mark Tarana just posted up on Twitter a picture of me and Ramses. Check him out. I thought he was black. I think he's black today. He's brown here. But look at my man. Look at my man. That is so cool.
You look like a professional, Jimmy.
Oh, you have no idea. I was so, and let me tell you something. He downed that, right? That is full. He downed that. I'm going to be generous here and say 30 seconds.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it was incredible how fast, that's all he is. It's about energy, getting that energy all day long. But he was just too much, man. He was too much. He was great. Now, we're going to head towards break here, and we'll get to more phone calls when I come back. But your sighting going back to 2004 and your connection to, and she's a she, right, if my memory is right, on that craft. Do you think there's a possibility that they could come hang out with us up at ECETI next week?
You know what? You asked me that before, and I'm really hoping so. It's I haven't. The encounters that I've had since then have been more like through meditation or like a telepathic communication, but I haven't seen the craft, and so I would love for them to show up. So I'll try to put in a special request and say that my man Jimmy Church would really enjoy connecting in with these beings, and so we'll see what we can do. Yeah,
because next week or the week after, I've got to look at my schedule here. I'll be over at Coast, right?
Okay.
I'll be at Coast August 25th. Oh, that's what I've got to do. Oh, wow. I got to do ECETI. Then I come back, Dimensions of Disclosure. Then the week after that, I'll be over at Coast to Coast. So we've got to have something happen, right? So I can go up to Coast and talk about ECETI.
Yeah, and that'll be the day after my birthday too. So that would be a good birthday present. When you're the day after my birthday is when you're going to be on Coast to Coast, and so if we got a story to tell, that'll be a good birthday present. So maybe they'll accommodate us.
That's exactly how it works. This is Fade to Black. It is Thursday night, Fader night, and special Fader night because we have Matthew Ryan here. He's going to be with us at Soul Tech all next week, and he's helping me answer the phones. Fade to Black, Thursday night, Fader night. More of your phone calls with Matthew Ryan after this short break. Stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numana banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously. Go Beckley Tappy.
Do you worry a lot? Whether you're a college student, busy professional, parent, or grandparent, ongoing stress and elevated levels of the stress hormone cortisol can rob your memory, your health, and your future. Now you can combat the effects of stress and anxiety while improving your memory and recall at the same time with the dietary supplement Calm and Clever. Studies show that the ingredients in Calm and Clever reduce cortisol by as much as 30% in 1 to 2 weeks. Call 1-800-758-8746 or calmandclever.com.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRARadio.com.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. Thursday night. It is Fader Night. Open lines all night long. 323-825-5045. One number tonight. We're going to stack it up right there because with me, manning the phones, is Matthew Ryan. And Matthew, it was so funny when I was talking about your 2004, and I was like, I think it was in New Mexico. Wait, no, or was it Arizona? No, it was New Mexico. No, I think it was Arizona, but it was Taos, New Mexico. So funny. I mean, two magical places, and I was trying to dial it in, but there you go. So it wasn't Taos, right?
Yeah, this happened in Taos. Although when I was little, I grew up in Arizona, so maybe you were picking up on something there. But this happened in Taos in 2004, in kind of the beginning of April, and and it's not even though the experience that I had maybe is uncommon. We people all over around here constantly are seeing things up in the sky, and in fact, really good friends of mine were just out at Contact in the Desert, and they purchased some really high power, like professional grade lasers for us, thinking that we would maybe start gathering some groups and go out and night watch and like CE5 and do that. So it's not an uncommon thing here when people talk about UFOs that it doesn't really freak people out too much. Not like where I grew up back in the Midwest. So pretty special place.
Yeah, we're going up there fully equipped too as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, night vision and I've got some really cool stargazing binoculars too as well. So we are good to go. It is such, and see, last summer when we were there, much of what I saw and everybody saw, this was with naked eye. This was naked eye stuff, and night vision. I was using it, but I would say probably 80% of that real low flyby that went by, that I didn't have night vision for that. It practically hit me in the forehead. I didn't have to see, and the other two, or the one sighting that Mark and I, well, the whole place saw it, but Mark and I saw this bright star going like a planet. There was 3 of them out to the west, out to the west, because of the sunset. It's 10 o'clock at night, and where you are up there at 10 o'clock out to the west, it's still like blue. It's not daylight, but it's lighter than the night sky above us. But there are these 3 planets out there. I'm like, what are those doing there? Well, anyway, that was with naked eye. One of them just lit up and then took off. So,
wow.
you ready to go back to the phones?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Okay, I'm going to go to, I've got an unknown caller here. Hi, caller. Who's this?
What's up, Jimmy and Matthew and FADERNIGHT? This is Teresa Yanneris at Divine Frequency. How are y'all doing tonight?
What's up,
Teresa? How are you?
I am so good. So good to be talking to you guys, and I cannot wait to see you guys in just a few short days at Soltech.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So good to hear your voice. And have you met Matthew before?
I have.
Oh,
I've met Matthew, and I'm just excited to go to this group energetic clearing that, Matthew, you're going to be doing. I'm super stoked.
Now, I want. Okay, can I talk to you about one of the things that you and I are going to be doing together? I need some coaching.
Yeah, we haven't had a chance to talk about that yet.
No, we have. Okay, now see, this is what's really cool. The audience is definitely sitting here with us and enjoying this. We are going to be hosting Cards Against Humanity.
Nice.
It's going to be a blast. We're basically doing a game night, and it's going to be so much fun. And we're going to do it in big groups of people. We're going to have team captains. We're going to have a panel of judges, and it's going to be the whole shebang. It's basically going to be Cards Against Humanity on steroids. Instead of 4 people, it'll be like over 100. So it's going to be a blast.
Now,
count me in.
Okay, so for the uninitiated, what is Cards Against Humanity?
Well, and I'm glad I'm hosting it because I tend to be the one that I get too literal and it's not funny and then I don't win because you really want to be funny. But essentially you have a card that, I'm going to butcher this, that you have like a stack of, I think, 6 or 7 cards in your hand that say words and phrases on them. And then the person whose turn it is, you're trying to like match your card to what their card is. And so you're trying to make something relevant or funny or whatever. And then the person whose turn it is gets to choose what their favorite card is, and that person wins the round or whatever. But I'm not funny enough, so I'm glad I'm hosting it. Yeah. I can be funny as a host. But
So what makes right now Cards Against Humanity is like it's viral, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What makes it so
funny.
special? Yeah. Look at Ryan's reaction. He cannot believe what is, he's so excited about this. Oh, let me ask Ryan. Matthew. Let me ask Matthew, what makes you so excited about Cards Against? Why is it all the rage right now?
I've only played it one time actually, and it was at a party on what was it, Christmas Eve, I guess, and this last year. And I guess one of the things that makes it so funny is that like the cards that you'll draw, I mean, some of them are, or even like the questions or whatever, that you're trying to match. It's like they can get so inappropriate and it is so funny. I mean, people, I don't know if I've ever seen any kind of a game like this. I mean, people are like, they are just killing themselves. Like they bend over dying with laughter. It's really, really funny. And, if we're going to have a whole group of people playing, I'm looking forward to that for sure.
And Teresa, the game. Now I hadn't shows you what I am under a rock most of the time. I hadn't heard about it, and then I go and check it out, and it's all over the place. It seems like everybody knew about it except for me. What makes this game so special right now?
Maybe colleges. I don't know. Maybe it's a college thing. But it is very inappropriate. Like Matthew was saying, some of the cards are like pretty offensive, but I think that's what makes it so funny because it kind of pushes your limits and all that. But what I think is also cool about doing it with a group is it's going to kind of abstract it into something even funnier, I would think, because even if you don't even know what Cards Against Humanity is, you can do the game where you have someone that says, okay, in your groups, let's say there are 4 groups, and then you say, if an alien comes to the White House, what is the first thing he would say to the president? And then everybody has to come up with their phrase of what they think would be funny, and then the judges would say which team wins. So even on that level, you can play the game in groups like that where it's just kind of open-ended, which I think is kind of funny too. We could come up with our own questions.
And it also sounds cool. Like, from what I have read and seen, the inner self comes out, right? Where somebody that normally isn't outspoken or maybe offensive, is that the right word? Or funny suddenly is.
Oh yeah,
Right.
You absolutely like people. It is maybe an indicator, of some of the subconscious flowing through with, seeing what people think is a good match. It's really a crack up.
I can't wait. I'm so looking forward to this. Go ahead.
It's going to be a blast, yeah. And guys, I have to tell you guys something. Matthew and Jimmy, holy crap, you guys aren't going to believe this. So last year at ECETI, Jimmy was there, I was there, we saw all kinds of ships in the sky. Everybody knows that. So I was at ECETI Ranch a month ago, actually with Vicky. So Vicky just called in, and I heard that call in. And she told about her Bigfoot story. There were like 6 Bigfoot sightings. There were 6 different people that saw Bigfoot, first of all.
Awesome.
Second of all, on the 4th of July, I saw the biggest ship I've ever seen in my life. And ECETI Ranch is the only place that I've ever seen ships. But this ship came down on the 4th of July. It was a big triangular craft. It was like glowing red. And it sat there and hovered and I think it was trying to watch the fireworks. It was crazy. And then it was like snaking down and moving. And then there were other ships around it phasing in and out. And I'm telling you, this wasn't a firework. I'm telling you, it was a ship for sure.
Where
there
was
were 5
this
of
at?
us there watching it.
Where was this at?
This was over if you're looking at the mountain, it would be over to the left side.
Right.
So it was the ranch to the left of ECETI Ranch. They were throwing fireworks off.
Right.
And then in the distance, there were 5 of us. We watched this ship for like 15 minutes. It was crazy. It was the biggest ship I've ever seen, and it was super low in the sky. It was really cool.
What is it?
That's awesome.
I know. Matthew, you're going to flip out.
I'm so excited.
And now Teresa, this is what's really great. Teresa and I, all of us together, but when I say Teresa and I, the group, we saw so many extraordinary things that I have talked about on this show. And I know that it sounds unbelievable and extraordinary and just over the top. But Teresa, you were there. That one ship that flew over us, that saucer that flashed us right over the top of us and kept on going, the pink one that turned blue, was that like the craziest thing? Well, besides your triangle.
Well, I have to tell from my perspective because I was actually in the hall when that happened. It was hilarious because you guys all came into the hall. It was like however many of y'all, like 20 or 30 people come in. Y'all are all freaking out, telling about this ship you had just seen. It was so funny.
Oh,
everybody was out of their mind.
Missed
it was so hilarious.
You weren't out there for that?
I wasn't out there for that. I was inside of the hall with a few other people. I just happened to miss it.
Oh.
But, it's fine because I saw so many other things. But, yeah, it was fun to watch you guys come in and see how freaked out you guys were.
Well, how about the one that flashed 31 times?
That was crazy. We were all counting it. It would phase in and out, and then it would phase in and go to a different location. And, man, and then you'd see them crossing and then completely making, like, 90-degree turns, and then it was like they were doing gymnastics in the sky with each other, like moving around. Man, it was so cool. And the cool thing, too, is that after I saw ships for my first time at ECETI Ranch, it was something that I could do. Like, it's not like that's the only place that you can see ships in the sky. So for everybody listening, all the FADERNIGHTs listening right now, you can go see ships in the sky wherever you are. When I was out with my family for Thanksgiving last year, this was a few months after ECETI last year in 2017, I went outside. I was standing on the pier over the lake, and I was hanging out with my family, and they were talking about ships because, they'd heard me on Jimmy Church. They heard us talking about the ships, and they were like, man, that's super cool that you could see lights in the sky. And I said, well, we can go see lights in the sky right now. And so we ran down the street. We hopped a fence. We went out into the middle of the darkness out in the field, and we looked up in the sky, and we started calling them down, and we started seeing ships in the sky. It was really fantastic.
Last night after the show, right, went back to the house, and we're getting ready to eat, and I just, I'm checking my gear and doing stuff, and I walked out on the patio and sat down in the chair and just looked up in the sky with the night vision, right there, just scooted across, and so Rita walks. She goes, "Are you seeing anything?" I go, "No, not yet." Whoa, here we go, right? And it just,
oh my God,
it just lit up, and it went from like 10 o'clock down at an angle to like 5 o'clock. It's moving down across the sky, and we have palm trees in our backyard, and where I was sitting, I handed the night vision to Rita, and I think it continued behind the tree, and she missed it. But, just like you're saying, just go out there at any moment. I was sitting there for, 60 seconds, and I just happened to look up at the right spot at the right time. And there you go. I cannot wait for next week. I just cannot wait.
Oh, it's going to be a blast. Rita said you guys were talking about mermaids. What y'all know about mermaids?
Oh, man. That's Rita's zone. Mermaids, look, it's really simple. When after my little fairies thing last year at ECETI, when it comes to all of this stuff now, I have just got to accept. That's it. That's where I'm at with this. I don't really care anymore. I said to somebody yesterday, I was on a phone call yesterday. I said, I know who I am. I do. I know who I am. And I know what I look like. And I know what my voice sounds like. And I know how it must feel to people when they hear me say, yeah, man, fairies. Or whatever it is. Oh, yeah. But I just don't care anymore. When we go back throughout time, and we have all of these different, and I was talking to Michael P. Masters about this earlier in the week. I think it was on Monday, or Tuesday, when we look at and listen to folklore, right? And things. I think it was Michael P. Masters that said the other night, that's why they're called fairy tales, because they needed to talk about these things that they were seeing out there, but not freak everybody out. So you call them fairy tales, but it gets documented, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that.
Well, such a big part of that, I feel like, is what I talk about, the consensus reality. The reality that the consensus believes to be real, and that there's like agreement upon, and that consensus reality filters what we are capable of perceiving sometimes. And like when you step outside of it, like when I traveled down to Peru a couple of years ago and did a dieta in the rainforest, and when you speak with the people down there, and they like, mermaids are absolutely a part of their reality.
That's right.
And so so are these other beings that live in the Amazon basin there. And you could talk to a biologist, a Western trained biologist, and they'd say, no, that's absolutely garbage. Like they're seeing the freshwater manatee. But the reality is that their belief system allows those things to be real, and therefore they are real. And I think it's the same thing, whether it be Bigfoot or fairies, or, like when I've been up in Scandinavia traveling, it's the same thing with trolls. Like trolls and gnomes are absolutely real. In Iceland, elves are real. They actually like divert roads in Iceland around like little elf homes, So
I know.
It's incredible, but it's absolutely real. But in the United States, the primary dominant culture or belief system doesn't typically allow for that kind of stuff, so then they become like a myth or legend.
Yeah. So, I did a Fader fact last week, and I believe, or a couple of weeks ago, I think this was the number, like 80% of the population of Iceland believes in elves.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. Well, Teresa, why, I know you've got the mermaid hair. I know that you've got the mermaid jewelry. Are mermaids real?
Absolutely, mermaids are real. Yes, I have literally had my hair every color of the rainbow. I've also had my hair literally rainbow. I used to run a business actually called Ascended Mermaid. But the idea is I am an archetypal girl. That's who I am. And I love talking about archetypes. That's why I teach workshops on them, and I'm actually going to be teaching a workshop on archetypes at Soltech. And what I love about the mermaid archetype is, like, if we think of it, and that means original pattern. So when we look back in history, Matthew, you were talking about history and folklore, Jimmy, and when you move back into that space and then you consider the collective consciousness that Akashic record that we all share, that all of us connect to, we have these archetypes of meaning, these collections of thoughts that come together and have these groups of meaning called gestalts. And the mermaid archetype is that divine feminine. You think of the water, you think of that abyss diving into those deep waters of consciousness. And so when you really move into that mystical space, that moon energy, you can thrive. It's a super feminine female moon energy that just allows you to flow with consciousness and pull things out of the ether and get kind of lost in that illusion. And then that balanced with some of the male archetypes, and then you bring in the conscious awareness and then the action base. And so it's super fun to look at all these different archetypes. You were talking about elves, Matthew. That's a really cool archetype. There's so many different meanings that when you research the mythology, you research the history, you can start learning about what these archetypes meant to people historically. And it's really interesting when you start learning that these things are real, you know, Jimmy, like you were saying. And I've heard a lot of people talk about how these beings are in the inner earth, that they're there, still alive there. And I've heard a lot of people that live in Hawaii that say that mermaids are there in Hawaii, that the locals know that, and they just don't really share it with people that come to visit, which I think is fascinating.
Right. About 5 years ago, 4 years ago, I walk into George Norrie's luncheon. And this is at Contact in the Desert. And there's probably 250 people there. And George is taking questions. And I'm standing in the back with Rita. Rita remembers this. And, I'm just, hanging out. And they're taking questions. And this lady gets the microphone and she goes, George, I never forgot this. It flipped me out. She goes, George, when are you going to do a show on mermaids? And George laughs, right, and goes, I don't know. Let me see your feet. And so everybody starts laughing, and she shows her feet, and she goes, no, I'm serious. And the crowd was like, yeah, mermaids. And I stepped back and I went, okay, I got to do a mermaid show. Everybody, and it's so when we sit here and we're talking about it, I get where some people, come on, man, mermaids, Tom Hanks, Splash, we've seen that movie, but the interest in it is real. It's genuine.
Yeah. And people are resonating with the frequency, Jimmy. That's what I'm saying. And I know that sounds really woo-woo of me, but I just said it, and I'm unapologetically saying that because I think that there's a shift right now where people are really tapping into this divine feminine energy, and you see people buying these latex tails. These things can be upwards of, I don't know, $3-4 grand, and even higher than that. And they're going and they're learning how to scuba dive. They're getting certifications, and they're actually swimming around in tanks. There's one in Dallas. I'm in Texas right now. There's one in Dallas. There's one in LA. There's one, they have them. This is a thing, and you can hire them. They'll come to birthday parties. They'll come to all kinds of different parties. And I mean, it's a culture. It is spreading too. It's growing.
Do you have, do you have, do you have, let me see your feet, Teresa. Do you have fins?
I've done photo shoots in fins with friends, but I don't have any myself, but we rent them, and then we go do photo shoots. And we had like the mermaid crowns. We would make the crowns. We would make the whole outfits. One time we went to a mermaid parade, like a fair in San Marcos, Texas, because that whole town their mascot is the mermaid. So they throw a fair. Me and my girlfriends, we got all dressed up because we love to get dressed up. We got dressed to the nines as mermaids, wigs and all, the whole shebang. And we went down into the parade, and people were in line to take pictures with us because they thought that we were like part of the parade. We were just there to have fun, but it was a blast. And then we floated the river.
Now I'm feeling a little left out. What about mermans?
Oh, it's a thing for sure.
Is it really?
There are all kinds of merfolk.
So there's such a thing called a merman?
Oh yeah, definitely.
No,
that sounds like something we got to do, Jimmy.
No. You don't want to see me. You don't want to see me in a merman costume.
I'll bring it to Soltech.
That would be the last thing. Oh man, Rita she just freaked, man. Her milk just curdled right now. Oh jeez. But there are mermans. Teresa, you're telling
I would say that's a thing. Why not?
Okay, all right. I'm not going to go on YouTube after the show and go check that out, but I'm sure they exist. Teresa, before I let you go, really quick before the break, what are you going to be teaching this next week up at Soul Tech?
One of my favorite talks that I'm going to be giving is the one about archetypes I was talking about. So it's a soul journey through the archetypes of the major arcana of the tarot. You don't have to have any knowledge about the tarot at all. We're simply talking about archetypes. And it's going to be a classroom. So it's going to be very practical, small group exercises. That's going to be really cool. And then there's another talk I'm giving called Your Inner Magician. And this is going to be the first time that I'm going to be talking about this. And I'm super excited. Cool. So it's advanced truth seeking. And there will be a practical tool that I'm going to be teaching, a method for truth seeking, tapping into the magic of conscious awareness on the journey towards self-mastery. Another thing with like lots of small group exercises. It's going to be so much fun.
Well, and that's awesome. What you do. Yeah, I know. Matthew, have you seen Teresa teach?
I haven't seen her teach. I've only seen her speak, and and then obviously the her videos and things like that. But I haven't seen her teach yet.
My first experience watching Teresa give a presentation was teaching. And Rita and I, we just turned to each other and we're like, man, that's it. That's the future right there. That's nice. The future. And here we are. I cannot wait for Soul Tech next week. Well, Teresa, safe travels. I know. We're going to have a blast.
So much fun.
We're going to get there on Tuesday. Teresa, when are you going to get there?
Oh, that's a good question. I think I fly on the 8th, whatever day that is. I think that's Wednesday. So I'll be there a day later than you guys.
Okay, there you go. And Matthew, when do you arrive?
Yeah, I arrive on the evening of Tuesday.
There you go. Yeah. I'll see you Tuesday. Teresa, we'll see you Wednesday. Safe travels.
Yeah,
all right, guys. See you soon. Thanks for having me on, Jimmy. And I can't wait to see you guys and you, Matthew, and have a wonderful night, FADERNIGHT.
That's Mermaid Yanaris, everybody. We'll see you. Bye, Teresa. It's going to be great. She is just amazing in how she teaches. She's got a gift for that, and it's a real one. All right, Matthew, let's take a break right here, and we'll come back. We'll take some more phone calls. This is Fade to Black. It's Thursday night. It is FADERNIGHT. Open lines all night long, 323-825-5045. One number tonight. We're stacking them up right there. I'll be right back.
Hi everybody, this is Rob Halford, the Metal God on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station. Salt Lake City, Utah. Van Buren, Arkansas.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM. Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRARadio.com.
What can I say about the most popular tea on the internet? And what do customers say
about Life Change Tea at GetTheTea.com. A lot. But by federal law, we at GetTheTea.com cannot make claims to how this product can enhance your health. We cannot even post our testimonies without being in compliance. So how do we get past the hump? Try our products at GetTheTea.com and see for yourself. You can send us a testimony, but we just can't post it. Bummer. Our products are GMO-free and organic. We pride ourselves in being the best we can be, and we urge you to take charge of your health. We're 11 years strong, and many of our customers have shared their successes with friends and family. Protect your colon. Log on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. GetTheTea.com. GetTheTea.com.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why fade to black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black, Thursday nights. It's Fader Nights, my favorite night of the week. Hanging out with all of you. Had Jon Rappoport on earlier. No More Fake Newsroom Live. And then Matthew Ryan joined us. He's helping me man the phones tonight. I want to thank Teresa Yanaris for coming in, doing a quick drive-by. Love it when she joins the show. Haven't heard her voice in a while. It's great to have Teresa here. And I wanted to mention we are talking about Soul Tech tonight and everything that is on the table. But you need to make sure, though, I know that we've got a lot of people going up there next week, that you need to get your food ordered. Please make sure you go and visit SoulTechGathering.com and order your meals. Okay? And it's for our caterer. Our caterer needs to make sure that everybody is set up. All right? And it's great. We have an amazing caterer. Go and take care of business. If you're going to be camping and cooking, that's great. But you're going to want a couple of them dinners. I can assure you that. What about breakfast? What about breakfast? There you go. Make sure you've got your meals taken care of. All right, Matthew. Did you listen? Sir. Did you listen to the show last night?
You know, I did not actually. I missed it.
Okay. Last night we Ouija boarded with Art Bell.
I saw your posts about that though. That looks super interesting.
It was crazy.
What did we come up with?
Well, yeah, it was pretty crazy. Well, Art was like 5 minutes of a 2.5-hour broadcast, but it caught me by surprise, and it was just it was very interesting. I wanted your take on it, but if you didn't get a chance to listen to it, do it after the show. We'll talk about it next week at Soul Tech.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black, area code 405. You're up next.
Hello?
Yeah, you're live.
Hey, Jimmy, how are you?
I'm doing good. Who's this?
My name's Jody, calling from Oklahoma.
Hi, Jody from Oklahoma.
Hey, Jody.
Hey, Matthew. I wanted to say, give a shout out to your man, I believe Alec, the one that sells the night vision.
Oh, yeah, Alec Hoffman. Yeah, he's great.
Yes, he hooked me up, got some night vision, and awesome. He actually FaceTimed me and helped me set them up. That's how, I mean, he was just pretty awesome doing that.
Which ones did you get?
There was the the ones where I would have had to sell my kid to get. I got the one underneath that.
Well, this is the thing. The technology is extraordinary. So there's that part of it. But the second thing is it's an investment to change your life, right? It's hardware. And it will do just that. I want to know, Jody, what have you been seeing?
I haven't had a lot of time, and it's been kind of cloudy and rainy here in Oklahoma. So I haven't. I did get to go out and just did a little bit of viewing one night, but just saw some stars that I've never seen before. So,
and that's hold on a minute. I got a comment on that. I love it when the first time anybody looks through night vision, right? Okay, so you're standing out there. You haven't looked through them yet. You're looking up at the stars like everybody else is, and you know what's up there, right? You're looking. You see it, and there's a lot of stars, and it's great. And then you look through the night vision, and you're like, holy crap. And that's what everybody does. They'll pull the night vision away and then look back again, because with the night vision, you're looking at 1 million stars. Without the without the night vision, you look up and you're looking at a few hundred, right? And it's crazy. And then it's great, but then you put the night vision back. Oh my, that's what's going on up there. Wow.
Yeah. And I get to use them at Soul Tech with you guys.
Oh, so you come into Soul Tech. All right.
Yeah, my son and I are going to come. It's the first time I've ever been to any type of a meeting like this. We're pretty excited.
Oh, Jody, get ready. You got to wear your big boy pants, man. I'm letting you know right now.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
You're jumping in both feet, man. If this is your first time, you're going to a first class, not only location but event, and just be prepared. My first time, my only time to ECETI, I kind of thought I had a clue, but I didn't. You're gonna have the greatest time. How old is your son?
He turned 18 in June, so he's pretty excited too.
All right. Does he listen to the show? Does he listen?
A couple of nights ago. Oh no, last night, because he's really into the Ouija, and I'm like, son, I don't want that near my house. I don't want it near my house. That kind of freaks me out.
Right.
But and we won't bring it into our house because out of respect for me. But then last night when I listened to your show and that lady, it brought a new perspective to myself, and I'm like, Nate, that's my son's name. I'm like, Nathan, you got to listen to this. And he was like, yeah, Dad, I told you there's some good stuff with it as well. I'm like, okay. It still kind of freaks me out, though.
Well, look, it is what you make of it. Now, if you're going to go and sit down with a bunch of your, if you're a teenager with your teenage friends and you want to sit down and start summoning demons, you want to go there, you're asking for trouble. I mean, you really are. But if you look what we did last night. First off, we did a prayer at the beginning and a prayer at the end and said thank you. And we asked for protection. But we weren't looking for trouble. We were just seeking answers and having fun. And
it was fun.
It was. I had the best time ever. Now, am I going to get a Ouija board? No. I'm not a professional, but I would do it anytime with Karen. I would sit down. Yeah. I would like to see if I have the abilities. I would love to sit down with her, and Rodney is just incredible. So doing what I did last night was, which is just sitting and having a conversation and letting things play out. I'll do that anytime. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yep. To answer your question, though, last night was the first time he heard your show.
Oh.
And I brought him in just because of the Ouija.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to meeting him.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking forward to meeting you guys, too. I did have one question for Matthew.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, Matthew, I lived in Colorado Springs area for about 5 years.
Okay.
This was back between 2008 and 2013. Okay. And I started having started feeling paralyzed and all that stuff, during sleep paralysis and things. It's kind of freaking me out. So I started watching all kinds of YouTube videos and came across Robert Monroe and things like that. And actually started, being able to control out of bodies. I ordered that the HemiSync. Are you familiar with that at all?
Yeah, I'm a little bit familiar with HemiSync. Yeah,
and I started doing that, and I was actually, I was in control of it there for a long time, and then I moved back home back in 2013, and I still tried to meditate, and I guess it's just, getting back into how I was raised and things like that. And I can't get back into the out of body. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to go into Soul Tech, to maybe see if there's a different energy there, or different energy in Colorado than there is in Oklahoma, or if it's just me. So
well, that's,
what's your take on that? Could it be your environment that you're in, or is it just your mindset, you think?
Well, I think that's a great question, and I would say that it could be being affected by actually both of those situations. Actually, several different factors. Sometimes the location where you live or where you're visiting can facilitate, expanding your awareness or your access, your consciousness. That's, we can see that pretty easily in places like, Mount Shasta or Sedona, or, maybe like Glastonbury over in the UK, where people go, and even people that aren't, wouldn't consider themselves to be very spiritually adept, let's say, can have experiences that are absolutely valid, that are experiences of expanded consciousness. So sometimes the actual physical location and the energetic fields or electromagnetic fields, geomagnetic fields that are present there, can provide you with a little bit of a boost. And like in my experience as a child, when I was having out-of-body experiences, funny enough, the place that I most commonly had those was at my aunt and uncle's home in, kind of like suburban Chicago, Illinois. And I don't know why, I don't know if it's associated with like a ley line or anything like that, but for some reason, when we would go there, those experiences tended to happen to me. And so, sometimes the physical location can do that. And, living up near Colorado Springs, there's an enormous amount of energy up there in the natural environment. But then you've also got an enormous amount of kind of artificial, frequency modulation going on because of Cheyenne Mountain and because of the military base that's there. And, so that could be a thing. Also, moving, I guess, maybe just the timing and the way that your personal energy field is responsive to the ambient energies or to circumstances within your life. It's those things can also affect what's going on. Maybe it's also part of your soul's journey that you had this moment of increased access, and then you move out of that moment, and it needs to move through a period of time where maybe there's some integration. So it's kind of a complex situation, but really a good question. And I think that there could be several factors, but the fact that you would like to begin practicing and kind of seeking out those experiences again, I think that your focus, the kind of focused intention around that is probably going to be your most important factor. And I'm sure with how you're seeking out information, and then definitely going to Soul Tech and being exposed to some techniques and some of these other teachers, or in my workshops, that maybe you'll be able to come away with something then that can provide you with a catalyst to kind of push you forward.
Now, I signed up for classes several months ago. I know I'm in one of Teresa's. I have no idea who the other ones are. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I guess when we get there, they'll tell us. I'm not sure how it works.
We'll be able to make those arrangements when you get there. I would suggest trying to do as much of it in advance as you can. But nonetheless, if there's something that you want to check out, you can do it. That's what it's there for. We want everybody to get the knowledge that they seek and make friends and just have an extraordinary experience. And the night vision, the sky watching that we're going to be doing, you're coming prepared. I'm so glad you got the night vision goggles, and it's just going to be an extraordinary experience for you. I can promise you that. Thank you, Jody. Behave and be well.
Matthew, thank you, guys.
Yeah.
And
Thank you, Jody.
Yeah, we'll see you next week, man. Safe travels. And say hi to Nate for me.
Sure will. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That's a great phone call right there. Let's stay on the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, this is Jody Wolf calling from Canada.
Hi, Jody.
Hi, how are you?
Wait.
Back-to-back Jodys.
Back-to-back Jodys? What are the odds of
Back-to-back
that?
Jodys.
Wow. All right. That's, man, never ignore a synchronicity. So I guess Jody was like, I got to call in now. So
Pretty much.
How you doing, Jody? Are you coming to Soul
great.
Tech? Are you coming to Soul Tech?
I'm absolutely coming to Soul Tech. I couldn't be more excited to meet both of you. I'm so pumped.
Right on.
I know.
So you're gonna ask for Matthew's autograph, right?
Oh my God, so quickly.
I can't wait. Man, he's a rock star now. He's a rock star. I mean, I got so much after I had Matthew on Fade to Black the first time, and then like a week later, right, straight to Coast to Coast. The email didn't stop. That was so cool, so cool.
No, it took me days to get through the emails that came through after both of those shows. That was extraordinary.
and now next week you're going to be teaching. It's going to be so cool. Well, you've been doing it for a while, but so Jody, what do you have for Matthew?
Well, I have a couple of questions and just a quick comment. One time there was this fantastic series of television shows that were on in Canada, Jimmy, and I was trying to take pictures of them and send them to you by Facebook. And that series, I don't know if it's ever come on down in the States, but it was only on in Canada. It was on late at night here. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Was it mine?
Yeah, it was yours.
Oh,
it was so
mine.
good.
Okay. Yeah, Breaking Mysterious.
Breaking Mysterious. It was so good. I just loved it.
Yeah, I think it's going to start premiering. It's going to start playing here in the United States. I think they started running commercials. Yeah, I got a couple of emails today about it, and somebody tweeted earlier today. So maybe I'll actually get to watch it. But okay, so Jody, what's your question?
Okay. So last night I was listening to this great episode that you had on with Claudia, with her Bigfoot episode that she was talking about and her experiences. And I thought to myself, I have to ask this question of people who have been to ECETI, or maybe when I get there. I just don't understand. I can't really reconcile in my mind, where is all the fear coming from? Because I know I've got full intentions of not only hanging out with the beautiful Sasquatch beings when I get it there, but even if it's through meditation or just sending out them love beams or leaving them gifts, I can't wrap my brain around where all the worry and the fear and the scary feelings that they were having during their episodes. And I thought, well, I'm going to ask some people who've already been there. Because when I get there, I'm just going to find the spot in the ranch, and I'm just going to send out the intentions and the love, and hopefully have an encounter. And I've already had 3 encounters in my life. They're a big part of our Indigenous community in Canada, and I can't imagine people are actually having encounters that are involved with them running away and being scared. So my question is about that.
Yeah, I'll let Matthew handle that. Everybody knows my take on it. I mean, Lorcan O'Toole last year with his sighting, and Bigfoot came out from behind this van, and he had done this, whoa, whoa. Lorcan imitates him really well. And he didn't know what was going on. Well, anyway, so Bigfoot steps out in front of the van. This is 2:30 in the morning, and his first reaction, well, he was scared. He was with a woman too, was to back up and maybe, run. But then curiosity got the best of him and he didn't feel the intimidation. But the first reaction, I think it's the correct one. You pee a little bit and then you run. That's what you do. I mean,
and I don't blame you for saying that answer, because every time I've asked this question of other people, they all think I'm the crazy one. But I don't understand why be scared. Like, I just get this impression that these are the most loving, incredible light beings. They're just not to be feared. So,
sure.
I mean, I guess I need to be schooled. That's what I need.
No. No, I'm with you. Look, Jody, I'm with you. But in the woods at night, walking down a path, and rocks start getting thrown at you, and then you're kind of, getting a little bit on the edge, and then you look to your left, and you're looking at some 8-foot, 600-pound, hair-covered, thick-necked, thing looking at you.
Right.
It's okay to be scared. You don't want to go give me a hug, big guy. It ain't about that. That's not the zone you want to go into. I'm just saying.
I don't want to be asking for a hug. Absolutely. No. I understand why people would be, but I also don't understand why everybody doesn't already understand a little bit more about who they are. Like, these aren't people that are going to be like grabbing you and running for the hills. Right.
And and I don't expect that either. Do you, Matthew?
Well, it's an interesting thing. I think that all of those responses are probably right in line with how most people are going to respond. And to kind of answer the question about like, well, why do most people have that kind of fear-based response? And I think it probably would be a couple of things. First of all, the way that we are socialized especially in our Western societies, that we have this understanding, or we have this, it's more of like a belief, but we have this understanding about like where we fit within our experience. And we've been taught our entire lives that we are kind of like the pinnacle, right? That we are the keystone or the capstone of the pyramid of life. And when you're having an experience with one of these beings, I've had experiences where I've heard them and I felt them. Even most recently when I was up teaching in Canada earlier this year, it was maybe about 6 weeks ago or so, and my friend Jason Slowalski, who he's actually going to be at Soul Tech, he's from Calgary, and he has a really close connection with these beings, with the Sasquatch. And we went out into the woods, into this area where he's had encounters. And they, we were, as we were moving through there, you could feel the presence of their energy. Absolutely. And I think for most people, with the way that they view themselves as, a human being in this world, that when you feel the presence of another high form of consciousness that is like literally checking you out, that's going to trigger a lot of fear for a lot of people. And let alone the fact that if you actually see one and you see this being that like Jimmy said is 8 feet tall and 600 pounds, the physical impression of that is probably going to generate a pretty strong fight or flight response within you, like right into the sympathetic nervous system. And but I think with, Jody, how your approach and, asking for connection and like saying some prayers or some blessings, this is at least from what my friend Jason shared with me when we were out there, that really is the right approach. We have to understand they're very high beings. These are not like primitive, like primates. These are high beings that are literally multidimensional. And your approach and the energy of your approach, maybe then when you have that experience, maybe the frequency or the energy that is going to come toward you is a little bit more conducive, so as not to trigger just like an overwhelming like fear or panic. So
did you guys just hear that? What was that? Did you guys hear like a low rumble?
I heard the low rumble. I don't know what that was.
Was that? Tell me.
That might have been one of my neighbors here in Taos driving by in their little boomer trucks.
Oh man, it sounded lower rumble than that. I was hoping it was a car coming from you guys. Jody, that didn't come from your phone line.
No, it was not me.
No,
okay.
I mean, if they're multidimensional, maybe they have access to the online radio waves. I don't know, Jimmy.
Man.
Well, I saw a Sasquatch being in Northern Ontario when I was a kid, and there was absolutely no fear. I wasn't afraid, and neither was he. There was nothing, absolutely nothing scary about it, and I thought it was the coolest thing since sliced bread, and we probably had a telepathic conversation for about a full minute. And when I went back to the house, of course, I had to tell everybody about it, and I was disappointed in the response I got from the adults, because I thought everybody would just absolutely believe me. And then 20 years later, I felt them around me in Vancouver Island, British Columbia, and I heard them screaming in Cathedral Grove Forest. I knew they were nearby. It was beautiful and serene and gorgeous. And last year I went to Mount Shasta, and I didn't see them, but I felt their presence on the mountain every day that I was out there. So what I want is, I want to ask them to show up for me at ECETI. I would love to have an interaction with them in whatever capacity that will be. And I just have absolute, honor and respect for them. And I just don't want to have anything near me that would make me even think of, I guess, fear response whatsoever. I just want it to happen. That's all I'm hoping for.
You're going to get, that's what ECETI is for, Jody. ECETI is, if you have curiosity and you are out there to seek, it will find you. And it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter. Now, we didn't see Bigfoot last year. It was Lorcan O'Toole that saw Bigfoot that morning, and I immediately not only brought him on Fade to Black to talk about it, but I brought him over to Coast because his sighting was right there, and 2 years ago, Clyde Lewis had his very famous sighting in almost the exact same spot as Lorcan's. There's a guest cabin there, and at the entrance of ECETI, and that guest cabin, Lorcan was walking past the guest cabin into where there's a small parking area. That's where he saw his Bigfoot. 2 years ago with Clyde Lewis, he was staying in that guest cabin when he saw his teen wolf. Right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that was right there, man. And so, which is right next to the Field of Dreams. And Vicky, who called up earlier, that had her Bigfoot encounter back in July, that the camping area is where Lorcan was walking to. Right? So that's where she saw it. The bathrooms that she was talking about, she came out of her tent. She was walking back in the general area where Lorcan and the cabin and Clyde had their sighting. So
right on.
I know, and we missed it all last year. I when it came to Bigfoot, I saw everything else, and had a lot of other crazy things actually happen. And I can't wait. I can't wait. That medicine wheel is gonna just take you where you need to go. And also the one of the best parts of ECETI, Matthew, you're going to experience this. There's a fire. There's a fire pit there. Okay, nice little circle of logs to sit on, and it's a big fire pit. And so you'll have 10, 15, 20 people any time of the day or night sitting around there just talking. And I'm telling you, you're going to hang out right there, and it's one of the best. I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait. I got to take a break right here. Jody, thank you so much. And what day are you arriving?
Thank you so much for not only pumping me up like you have been for days and days. I'm arriving on Thursday. I'm actually going to Portland on Monday because I've never been to Portland, so I'm having an adventure first. And then I'm arriving Thursday afternoon. I think they said we're going to start around 3 o'clock, so I'll be there at 3:01.
We'll see you at 3:01, awesome. Jody. Safe travels.
Thanks so
Jody.
much.
We'll see you soon.
Thanks so much. Take care, guys.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Matthew Ryan helping me with the phones tonight. It is Thursday night, Fader night. Matthew, you ready to take some more calls?
Absolutely.
We'll do that right after the break. Matthew Ryan's going to be at Soul Tech next week, along with, are you ready? We've got James Gilliland, Jason Quitt, Teresa Yanaris, Michaela Sheldon, Holly Marie, Mary Gabrielle, John Lund, Dana Harvey, Billy Carson, Laura Cantu, and Christine Contini. Corey Good's going to be there, too, as well. I'll be right back. Stay with us.
Hey, what up, y'all? It's your girl Vivica Fox here, and You are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numana banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously, go Beckley Tappy. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hey, can we talk about something serious for a minute? Your age. Getting old has its perks. But remember, being a few years younger, you know, your hair was thicker, you didn't have so many wrinkles, that extra weight wasn't haunting you, and you just felt better. Well, we can't turn back the clocks and go back 10 or 15 years, but you can start feeling and looking 10 or 15 years younger with Nature's Youth RSF. It's a doctor-formulated daily supplement that helps your body maintain its peak performance and fight the aging process. Imagine sleeping better, looking better, and feeling better. See how Nature's Youth RSF has helped thousands of people just like you at nature'syouth.com. nature'syouth.com. The holidays are coming. Imagine how it will feel when your family and friends are asking you what you did to look so good. Your secret will be Nature's Youth RSF. It's time to start looking better and feeling better. Learn more and order your Nature's Youth RSF at nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
All right, welcome back. Thursday night, Fader Nights. Jon Rappoport, No More Fake Newsroom. Thank you very much. Teresa Yanaris, surprise drop in. That was pretty cool. And Matthew Ryan's been here all night. Matthew, having fun?
Oh man, I'm having a great time.
Isn't it just amazing just to sit here and just take phone calls and just go through it? I enjoy it so much.
It's so cool. It's I love too that we've had people from all over, Oklahoma, Canada, that's super cool, the scope of the audience, and I'm really grateful to be here talking to everybody.
And I know I'm going to have that embarrassing moment. Somebody's going to come up to me at Soul Tech and go, "Hey man, it's me."
Hopefully I can hold their first names.
Yeah.
We get the introduction.
I have so much fun hanging out with the Fadernauts when we do these types of events, right? When we go out, and I pretty much am able to say hello to everybody by name. And
awesome.
And that's the family that we've built here. It's just so much fun. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Deb from Sacramento.
Hi, Deb. You got through.
I know. It was difficult tonight. You guys are so popular.
Yeah.
Hi, Matthew Ryan.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Hey, I had a question for you, Jimmy, and then a quick comment.
Sure.
You mentioned last week you were maybe going to be documenting events up there. You're going to have Gaia TV up there to film and document like sky watches and workshops and things like that?
It won't be Gaia.
Okay.
It won't be
But
Gaia.
it'll be filmed by others.
We are shooting a documentary. It's just that I don't want to say who it is, only because everybody knows. That's the first thing. It's not that big of a deal. But, I'll leave it up to them, and everybody's going to know that's attending what's going on. All right? And part of that is the mystery and the fun. And I want everybody up there that is attending Soul Tech to enjoy the surprise and participate. Their minds are going to be blown.
Awesome.
That's great.
Yeah. So it's
Quick comment.
Okay, I'll just tell you who it is. It's Steven Spielberg. He's,
yeah, right.
Yeah, Spielberg.
Close Encounters. Yes.
Yeah, they're outing him negatively this last week, so I don't think he'll be showing up.
Yeah, I know, right?
But my comment was, I think, what was your last caller's name? The lady?
Jody.
Jody. I think it's different, the Bigfoot thing, just like when people see, an ET in their room or whatever. I think whatever your intention towards the being is, if you go in like she does with a loving expectation and no fear, that's what you get out of it. But if you're apprehensive or there's uncertainty or unfamiliarity because you've never had the experience. For example, Jimmy, let me ask you, if you were in the field of dreams and all of a sudden a ship came right down, landed, it opened up, and a human-looking being started walking straight toward you, what would you do?
Ask him what's on the menu.
You would seriously stand your ground and talk to him, or would you kind of start to back up and go, wow, wait a minute?
No, I would not. I would not. I plain and simply would not. I want it. And so forth. When it comes to, this is the thing, E.T. on a craft coming down, that's one thing. I've had a bunch of pretty cool encounters over the years that were natural where I did not freak out. Okay? I mean, I went snorkeling one time down in Key West, and I'm probably 15 feet under the water, and I had a school of barracuda come by. Big, nasty teeth, big, gnarly, crazy, shiny, silver skull. I mean, it's frightening. And I was like, wow, I didn't freak out. And so...
Well, yeah, but you knew what they were.
But what I'm saying is... I didn't freak out. I've seen things in nature that were pretty crazy that I never really freaked out. But when it comes to Bigfoot, something, that big and intimidating, I'm not so sure. Would I stand my ground? I don't think running's a good idea, but I think running is a first choice. I can tell you this. I would definitely be trigger happy with that reaction of running. I mean, one step towards me or anything crazy, I'm out of there. I'm serious. I'm not going to. No way. No. That's bad advice.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell anybody just, Hey, man, reach in your backpack, take out an apple, offer it to them.
Yeah, because when you say, hey, what's on the menu, they might say you.
Yeah, well, that could be. You got a good point there. We're going to miss you.
Some grass.
We're going to miss you up at Soul Tech.
I know. I'm so bummed I can't go. I'm so bummed. I'm hoping next year for sure I'm coming, though. Come hell or high water, I'm going to make it happen.
Well, I know we're going to Periscope a big chunk of the event.
Good.
Okay, so
Good.
There you go.
That's
so
awesome.
you can hang out with us vicariously. How's that?
Very good, sir.
All right.
Okay,
Deb.
you have a great weekend, you guys, and you too, Matthew. Okay.
Hey,
Thanks for coming
thank you,
on.
Deb. Thanks for calling.
Thank you, Deb.
All right. Bless you guys.
Have a good night.
See ya. Bye.
Yeah, I can't believe it. Now you're flying in from New Mexico, and you're getting there Wednesday or Thursday.
No, I get there, actually, I think it's on Tuesday evening, and then I have, all day, Wednesday, Thursday there. I think I'm actually going to be doing a small handful of private sessions will be available, I think, on that Wednesday and Thursday, that I'll be able to work with some people, and some of those have already been filled up. But, I kind of wanted to get in, and just kind of acclimate early and not feel rushed into the situation. And, like I said, with my son coming, that'll be really good, I think, for us to kind of get in there and get to see everybody and connect in and ease into the experience.
Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hello, Jimmy. It's Frankie Four Fingers.
Hey, Frankie. How are you, man?
Doing good. Trying to relax. The sunroom's kicking my butt.
Yeah, sorry I didn't get to get that in on the Ouija board last night, but we'll do it next time. Are you
getting ready for? Well, yeah, getting ready for ESETI. Got the land barges pretty well much ready to go. Just got a couple other items to go, and I'll bring some pastrami for you.
Oh, I cannot wait! I cannot wait. I don't like my pastrami lean, and I like it thick. So there you go.
You like it with the little horseradish and cheddar cheese?
Of course, yeah. You can't play around. You got to do it right. So it was so funny last year, Matthew. What Frankie is talking about. So we had. It was a late night. It was late night, and we're out on the Field of Dreams. There's probably 100 of us out there, and I had like a bag of chips, right, Frankie? I was like, right? I think that's what I was like, man, I am just so hungry. And Frankie and Susie, his wife, are like, hey, well, you want us to make you a pastrami sandwich? I'm like, what'd you just say? I need you to repeat that. And Susie was like, I'll be right. I'm going to hook you up. And she went, this is like at midnight, man. And she goes over, they got the Winnebago, right? They got, it's just stocked. And she comes back, man, and she did the hookup. And I sat there at midnight in a chair on the Field of Dreams and inhaled that sandwich. It was incredible. It was perfect timing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hopefully you're taking orders this time around.
Yeah, I know. Oh.
Well, I better bring some extra pastrami then.
Oh, I know you guys are. So, Frankie, I wanted to ask you, what kind of night vision are your goggles?
I don't have night vision. I'm waiting for your model to come out, and then I'll sell, like the other gentleman said, sell one of my kids.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I got you. Very soon, we're trying to make sure that we've got those ready in time for ESETI. I've got the Area 51s. I suddenly got a weird echo.
I do too. We've got a bad connection. The phone's been acting weird all day today. So,
when do you guys leave?
We're going to be there hopefully by Wednesday noon.
Wednesday noon. So we'll see you there. I cannot wait. Who are you bringing with you?
Well, we're going to bring, of course, Susie. Aaron's going to be coming, and our oldest will be coming this time.
Oh, that's going to be great. So Aaron's going to be back.
Yep, Aaron will be back. Andrew will be working. He'll be managing the farm, and the oldest Chris, he'll be up there for the first time to any type event like this. So we'll have 4 of us up there.
I can't wait. I cannot wait. It's so hard for me to believe that today is Thursday. That's it. Tuesday, we're on a plane, man. And we fly into Portland, and then we pick up the rig, and we cruise right into, we'll be at ECETI probably 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
That sounds good. Yeah, and if anybody else is driving the big rig, watch that bridge going over Hood River. At Hood River. It's a pucker factor.
Thank you so much, Frankie. You guys have safe travels out there. Do you have any questions for Matthew?
No, I just, our internet's been going in and out, so it's like, what did I miss?
Oh, I got you.
So it's pretty hard to listen tonight. So
it was a great show.
Either that, no, we'll see all you guys up there, and it's going to be a good time. Dress warm for the evenings.
Thank you so much, Frankie, and give my best to the family, and we'll see you in 5 days.
Awesome.
Thank you, Frankie.
Sounds great. We'll see you all up there.
Right on. Thank you so much. Yeah, he's got the Winnebago. He's got the rig.
Awesome.
Now, what I wanted to ask you, what advice can you give not only to the audience, but those that are out there for night vision and that are attempting to make contact with, what is going on up there? What advice can you give? What advice could you give me?
Well, it's kind of interesting. I got kind of my own contact protocol, let's say, that I've either learned or been given over the years. And when I first listened to James present at Contact in the Desert a few years ago, my protocol actually lined up with his a lot. And for me, it's really about the intention. And when we're looking for contact with the star beings, or also with Sasquatch maybe, but definitely with the star beings. I mean, that's the one that I have the most experience with. When I want to make contact consciously with these beings or these craft, you basically just have to understand that they have technology, like either spiritual technology or material technology, that is able to tune into your frequency. And this is like based on your frequency signature, the unique frequency that you are emanating at all times. They can tune into that frequency, but it also goes the other direction. So it's like we can tune into their frequency as well. And so what I do, like when I'm going out either on my own or with friends, or if I just let the dog out outside at night, and walk outside, and I want to establish that communication, it's basically I go into it like just a very quick meditative state, focus my intention on making, benevolent contact with only the highest frequency beings that are available, for communication, or that happen to be flying by maybe and want to answer. And I essentially like broadcast that intention and that desire out from me. I just feel it emanate out as a frequency. And I usually, will kind of like ask something or say like, hey, are there any star beings out there? I'd like to make, clear conscious communication with these beings. And just kind of wait for a few minutes. And another thing that seems really obvious is that when you're doing this, if you want to have these experiences, you need to go outside and you need to look up into the sky. It's there is a lot of traffic, as you can attest to, when you're looking through those night vision goggles. And where I live, I'm very fortunate that we don't have very much light pollution, and we live at very high elevation here. So there's not a ton of atmosphere above us. And when you're looking up into the sky and you make that type of an intention, then you just kind of scan around the sky. And usually I find it like either as a feeling or maybe like an intuition through your peripheral vision, you'll catch some movement or maybe like a flash or a blink or something. And most of the time, when I see these craft, they look like they're satellites. They'll be like a very faint, unblinking light moving across the sky. And once I see that, then I kind of reiterate that intention and send it to them. And I'll ask, are you a star being or are you a satellite? And more often than not, they literally will respond. There will be a flash of light. They like power up, as James calls it, and they'll get really bright. Maybe they even begin interacting and jumping around the sky. But I'd say in general, though, my process really it's about the focusing of your intention and understanding that as you send that intention outwards, the intention is like tuning in the radio signal, and it allows you to tune in to their frequency and then them tuning into yours as well.
One of the things, you bring up a great point about, are you a satellite or something else? That's a great question to ask. And with night vision, you're seeing a lot, and there are some that are satellites, could be, right? And I get that. And you're sitting there and you're watching, and then you see it like turn. And it doesn't have to be a 90-degree turn. It could be a 10-degree turn. But you'll see it change directions. You'll see it slow down. You'll see it stop when you think that it's a satellite until it does something completely abnormal. And that doesn't mean that some satellites can't be positioned. And I understand that too. I do. That's what they're doing. They're moving around in some kind of NSA satellite being positioned up there. I understand that too. And then, but it's the other parts of it that totally don't make sense. And when somebody tells me, Matthew, oh, you know what, man, you're seeing satellites.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
No. And go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say one thing to remember also, those satellites that can be retasked into different positions, like let's say defense satellites or like, defense communication satellites. Most of those satellites are really, really high up there, and they, most of them probably are not super reflective, like reflecting sunlight to us that would be really visual. And, and then the other ones, the ones that are lower altitude, that takes fuel, takes a lot of effort to make these things change. And so like when we see these radical movements, that doesn't even remotely pass the logic test. It's not something that like just gets explained away. And, you've seen things just like I have, whether it be at ECETI or elsewhere. And when you see these things that are behaving in kind of erratic or abnormal patterns, that's not something that's like locked in geosynchronous orbit. That's something that's under an intelligent control.
Yeah, and that's exactly the point. And I have looked at different satellite mapping imagery and also real-time stuff, right? I'm looking.
Yep.
And it's in one spot around the Earth. And so, in other words, around the equator, there isn't a whole lot that is like. Anyway, back to my point. The majority of the stuff that is up there is locked. It's in a geosynchronous orbit pointing back here over the United States. And when a polar orbit, something that is going over the North and South poles, that's a rare flight pattern. There's only a few. And when I am looking through night vision and I am seeing something going at an angle from the south east up to the northwest, an angle across the sky. I'm sorry. I just I don't see that when I look at satellite mapping stuff. That's the first thing. The second, it's not that high.
Yeah, exactly. These things I'm curious about. Where the altitude would be on a lot of these things that we see. But, most of the craft that I've seen or the like light ships that I've seen that become interactive, they don't feel like they're very high. I'm talking like under 100,000 feet maybe or something like that, right?
Yes.
But like they don't, and maybe some of them are out like actually like in space, like outside of the atmosphere. But most of the ones that I've seen, and when I have friends that, I've got friends that they're like, dude, I want to see a spaceship with you. Can we call them in? And I'll say, okay, let's go sit outside. And we go and we sit outside for a while. We just talk, and I'm just looking at the sky, And then you'll see it, and I'm like, there's one, there's a starship, and then and then we look at it, and then they flash at us, and they change colors, and it's absolutely, they're interactive, and like that kind of a thing. I mean, it's like people that say that these crop formations are made with a dude with a board tied to his feet. It's just like, it's a ludicrous explanation, and I'm super excited to get up there to the ranch, and get the night vision goggles and see what else is not naked eye. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing, all of it. Tell everybody about your website and how can they get in contact with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So my the modality that I practice is called gamma wave healing, and so the website is gammawavehealing.com. That's GAMMAWAVE healing.com. So you can go on there, you can check out, any upcoming events, like workshops I've got scheduled, or you can book sessions through there. There's a lot of information. There's some blog entries on there, a couple of videos linked through there, and a lot more that I've been really called recently into getting a little bit more involved with teaching and sharing information, and so there's going to be some good stuff going on there. And, also there's a Facebook page under the same name if you're on social media. I am on Twitter, although admittedly I still need a lot to learn about how to really get involved. That's only been recent since you guys had me on the show last time. But yeah, that's a great way to get a hold of me. You can email me directly through the website or at matthew@gammawavehealing.com. And I'm going to be coming up, with Soul Tech here soon, and then it looks like I don't have a firm date on this yet, but it looks like the first 2 weeks actually in December, it looks like I'm gonna be leading a sacred site tour with Michael Tellinger, my good friend Michael Tellinger, over in South Africa. So that's gonna be that's pretty exciting. We haven't publicly set those dates yet, but it looks like it's gonna be the 1st through the 14th. Going all over Southern Africa with my friend Michael, and doing activations and healing work and readings in all of those sites there in South Africa.
Are you going to go to Stephen's calendar?
Adam's calendar?
Adam's calendar.
Adam's calendar. Yeah. I actually, Michael brought me over to the Ubuntu Festival this last April, the first ever Ubuntu Festival there in South Africa. And while I was there, I had a chance to go visit, some stone circles. I went to Adam's calendar as well. And
man, I'm so jealous.
My God, dude, that is like, that place is extraordinary.
Yeah, that's
it is
ridiculous.
So powerful.
Ridiculous.
It really is. So I'm really excited about that. We're going to probably be making that public here for the dates and like being able to book reservations. So yeah, lots of exciting things going on, and I'm so honored and so grateful for the opportunity to come to Soul Tech, and looking forward to my time off also there, so I can sit in and like learn from all these incredible people. It's going to be so exciting.
It's going to be amazing. Matthew, thank you so much for hanging out and manning the phones with me tonight, and safe travels up there to Mount Adams, East Ranch, and Trout Lake, Washington. Thank you so much, Matthew.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Matthew Ryan, GammaWaveHealing.com. The links are over at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Faded Black's executive producer is Rita Camarian. Show is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee Dennis, and Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vito, Mark D. Kovar. Webmaster Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, SpaceboyMusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and syndication is KGRA, The Planet. Thank you to Jon Rappoport, Teresa Yanaris, and everybody else who called and tweeted tonight. This broadcast owned and copyrighted 2018 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. That's it. We're off to ECETI. It's going to be replays all next week. If I broadcast live, I'll let you know. Until then, everybody be safe. Go Backley Tappy.